Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Big Sky, Montana for the mountain runs. We're here with the Mountain Outpost live stream. We're here for the vertical kilometer this morning. My name is Paddy O'Leary. I've got my lovely little assistant, Chris Brown.
Let's keep that dynamic going, huh?
Yeah, we're excited to follow what is going to be a barn burner of a race. A couple of inches of snow fell on Lone Peak overnight, but the original course is a go.
Mm-hmm.
We are running all the way to the top of Lone Peak.
So we could see an advantage for the skiers, the winter sports athletes. Yeah. I swear, Paddy, I was on a run 2 days ago. I'll admit it was a long run, but when I took off, it was 85 degrees and smoky, and by the time I finished, it was dumping rain and below 50 degrees. So fall happened 2 days ago here in Montana, and that's the weather these folks are going to be dealing with today on the VK.
Yeah.
We just got a photo from the top of the mountain. Visibility is zero. Everything is covered in ice up there. So it's looking like a gnarly event, especially up near the top.
So for all our competitors who are going to be running 45 minutes to 90 minutes to get up to the top of Lone Peak, they're going to be dying at the top and then want to put their puffy jackets on immediately to try handle those conditions up there. But we're here in a lovely warm studio, really enjoying ourselves and having a good time.
It's fantastic. We're caffeinated, we're ready to go, ready to watch a super competitive field. We were just looking back at some of the old results. This used to be what was the Skyrunning World Series? What was the particular?
This is part of the World Skyrunning Series from its earliest days, I think in 2014 through to maybe 2017, 2018.
Yeah. So looking back over historical times, it's hard to compare different years based on the level of competition. The course has changed a couple times. Last year was, of course, a short course. So we're trying to put together kind of some of the historical performances and compare people against each other. But based on some of the changes, both in terms of the competitive field and the actual course, it's hard to put it together.
So last year we had Brian Imstad, who is racing today, won the race on a shortened course. It just went up as far as the saddle in 37 minutes and 4 seconds. And we had Danielle Marquette won the women's race in 45.50. But we look back at the older results, and the CR for the women's race is from 2015 with Laura Org, who ran 52 minutes and 20 seconds. So that is the number that the women are going to be wanting to go for if they want to go for the CR. And then in the men, Remy Benet ran 45.57. That was also back in 2015. But we look at the fastest US runners. It's only quite recently, actually. Anna Gibson ran the third fastest time with, I think it was 54 minutes back in 2022. And then to look at the fastest men in the US, you look at Ricky Gates, and this is way back into 2014 when he was 15 seconds behind the great Kilian Jornet. This is in the 2014 race. So he's the third fastest time for the VK from an American runner.
Yeah, and a lot of the folks in the race this year, they might not go back that far, but pretty much everyone, or at least a lot of the elite field, both on the men and women's sides, have been here before and have had good performances. So a lot of veterans in the field, which is cool to see. A lot of people who have improved their performances just a little bit each year. So definitely a lot of people, maybe not the big names of Remy Benet and Kilian Jornet, but definitely some studs who have proven that they can run fast on this hill.
Well, even if you look at the quality of talent we have from North America that are coming to this race, especially the Rut, year after year, the Alaskans just come down in force. So we have the Pattersons are down here for the VK. Actually, I think they're doing the trifecta. We have Claire Rhodes in the VK and the 50K. So there's a lot of talent coming down from up north.
And a lot of people doing the trifecta or at least doubling this weekend. Yeah. So I've been kind of, this is the first race, obviously, but I've kind of been wondering, to what extent is that going to be in their mind, halfway up the hill, when their lungs are burning, quads are rocked, wondering, or at least, in their head, knowing that they have to run tomorrow. Yeah. Will that have an effect, or are they going to be able to block that out and just focus on today?
Yeah. Two of the people, actually, who are doubling up for the VK and the 28K are two of the most talented mountain runners in the US. We got Cam Smith, who actually has ran, I think, the fifth fastest ever time from 2022 when he was second to Adam Peterman. They stand 4 and 5 in the overall list. He's doing both the VK and the 28K, but he's one to watch. And then also Jen Lichter, 3 times 50K champion at this. Now she's jumping into the VK and the 28K this year, so she'll be obviously one to watch out for.
Yeah, Jen owns the Rut. She's local. She lives in Missoula. Came down from Whitefish a couple years ago. She trains she trains so hard, and she has great results on the world's biggest stages. And but this is her hometown race, to the extent that the entire state of Montana can be a hometown. But yeah, she's dominated here before, and she's definitely the one to beat today.
So we're looking. The race is going to start in 7 minutes. Shall we actually have a quick look at the race course?
Yeah, sure.
I think.
Let's do it. Okay, so we're gonna do a little flyover here and narrate as we go.
So it starts, at around 7,500 feet down here at the base of Big Sky. At the start, it's all fire roads up through the ski slopes, but it's still pretty damn steep. It gets steeper the further you go. The first half is all fire roads, and then as you get closer to the Swift Current aid station, a little bit of rocky section up to that. You cross the aid station, you get the energy of the crowd, and then you cross through the one little section of it that's forested. Then you're back out into the open on Bone Crusher Ridge.
Yep, so right where they're hitting right now on the graphic here, this is Bone Crusher Ridge. This is where things get super technical. Shale should be snowy at this point. And then Alto Ridge, which you can see the icon crossing into this point, that is that's just absolutely steep technical scrambling up to the finish. And like we said, almost zero visibility up there right now. And the underfoot condition should be pretty gnarly as well.
Yeah. We thinking if you compare it back to last year and the 2023 time when there was construction building the new lift to the top of Lone Peak, and so that saddle just between Bone Crusher and Alto, that's where the race stopped last year. So if you look at Brian and Danielle's time from last year, 37 and 45 minutes, that was just up to that saddle. Now we have ourselves a look at the snow-covered summit of Lone Peak. Well, actually, we can't see the summit because it's shrouded in the fog.
Yeah, you can see totally where they're going to cross into snow there. That ridge is going to be a little technical, a little slippery. We were delayed an hour this morning just so that officials at this race could make sure that was a safe, passable route. It snowed all day yesterday. And they just wanted to get up there and have a look at it and make sure that it was going to be a passable and safe journey for the runners. So they decided that it's viable. So luckily, it's not a short course this year. They are going to be doing the original planned route, although with just the extra challenge of some tougher conditions than expected.
One thing to point out here in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see the trees. That's the only covered up section of the course. Every other part of the course, you look forward, you look back, you can see the whole field, which can be an advantage. You can see who you're chasing, you see who's chasing you, but also can mess with your mind quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And but it's interesting because depending on the grade, those folks in front of you and behind you are going to look farther away or closer, right? Someone can look like they're just right on your heels. You're going to be able to hear them breathing. But if that's a steep enough slope, they could still be 45 seconds behind you and not really a threat. So it is a little bit of a mental challenge to conceptualize where exactly you are in the race compared to your competitors when the slope is that steep.
So we're looking, you can see in the top left corner, we've got the forecast from the base here at Big Sky. I think it said it was, we're going to scroll to a second, not too much wind, which will be an advantage for people when they finish the race at the top. The temperature is 7.9 Celsius in my language, 46 Fahrenheit in yours. That's at the base, but at the top, I think it's going to be well into the 30s. I think I heard it's going to be 36 Fahrenheit at the top. So that's going to be, if you're struggling up that top third, that's going to hit you.
Yeah, it looks like these VK runners are going to be dealing with the worst of the conditions. It's supposed to be a pretty nice day today, and likely we'll see a lot of snow melt. Leaving the majority, if not all of this course, pretty snow-free for the runners tomorrow and on Sunday.
Well, actually, we talk about visibility, but now look at the top third. When you've got someone behind you, you're going to hear them through the fog, because fog amplifies sound, but you're not going to be able to see them. So if you are dying in that top quarter, coming up to the end, trying to hold your spot, hold your time, it's going to be creepy.
Yeah, at that point, I don't think these racers are going to be able to hear anything other than their heart pounding in their own head.
Yeah. Okay, now we've got the view of the base camp down here in Big Sky. We got the North Face Dome on the right-hand side in the yellow. We got the Rut Finisher's Arch, or Start Line Arch for this. So at 11 o'clock we have the VK, and then also we have the 21K starting at 11:30.
Alrighty, you can see folks lining up for the start here. We are just a few minutes out. Haven't gotten word on whether they're going to start on time or not. These folks seem a little distracted to me. I'm not sure we're looking at a start in 2.5 minutes here, but that's just like my opinion, man.
I think that might be just because you're so, I don't know, not a very relaxed or fun racer when you're out there, Chris Brown. Like, this is what, have you ever considered enjoying yourself
Oh
when you're
man,
racing?
yeah. As an unsponsored runner now, that's all I do is enjoy myself. Didn't you and I make a pact that we weren't doing 100 milers anymore?
We did, and we continue to fall into that damn trap.
Yep. Yeah, we do. All right, so we're gonna be able to see the front of the group here, see if there's any faces that we recognize. Again, I'm still thinking this doesn't look like an on-time start based on just kind of body language here, but
also, this is just the spectators. Look how see the elites are.
oh, there we go.
We've seen the orange from Brooks. We got Mika.
That's Mika. There's Cam to his left, our right. The cool jersey on the right, that black and red. Oh, there's Chad Trammell.
Oh, there's Claire Rhodes. What's
there's
going on, Claire?
Cool. Chad, actually not on our sheet
Marathon
here.
champion. Ran under sub 50 on the Mount Marathon course this year, the third or fourth fastest time. Watch out for her.
Yeah, Claire is just an absolute stud. I was commenting before we got on air here that she'd be a household name if her biggest performances over the last year or so didn't also have world-class racers in there who happened to kick her off of the top spot.
Yeah.
So she has gone up against the likes of Tabor Hemming, Jen Lichter, Tony McCann, and finished just behind them, but not in that top spot. So it kind of kept her out of the limelight, but nonetheless, she is right up there with those names as a top world-class athlete.
I see in one of the black shirt and black shorts and North Face pack, we have Ryan Becker on the start line. Ryan has had some great podium results at this. He's struggled with injury a bit over the last couple of years, but the last 18 months to 12 months, he's had some pretty fast times on faster 50Ks and shorter races. This is the first time probably in 2 years we've seen him take on a big technical race. So we're excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, but technical on an uphill doesn't mean the same as technical on a downhill. So personally, I'm looking at his results, and that 3:18 at Way Too Cool means a lot more to me than it would on a race that went both up and down. So he's got the lungs, that's for sure.
He probably was one of the biggest engines of this field.
All right, we should be getting ready to go off right now.
We are 5 seconds from 11
Oh yeah,
a.m.
there they go.
They're lining up.
All right,
and
game
they're
on.
off.
Did I see Tyler Corville in there? I think I did.
And so from my own experience, I've ran many VKs in my career, and yeah, in about 30 seconds, especially in a course like the Rut, this is when your calves are going to start screaming. We're like, what on earth did I get myself in for? I'm 30 seconds into this race, and I am dying.
It is. Oh, we got
Maybe
someone.
that's just me.
It could be, but this is one of those formats where it's, pacing yourself. It's tempting, but at a certain point, it's just a matter of who can run the fastest while redlined.
Yeah.
You're going to redline almost immediately, and it's who can perform under those conditions. Okay, so who do we have out front? I see Cam in that chase pack along with Mika.
Mika, Ryan Becker with the sunglasses. We got Brian Imstad. He's looking like 6th or 7th place, the reigning champion. He's got his pink shorts, black shirt.
We got Jen Lichter.
From a distance.
Jen Lichter leading here, or at maybe second. It looks like there's one woman ahead of her.
That's Claire Rhodes.
Okay.
In the pink shirt with that may well be Jenna Greaser, the pro mountain biker, in the half tights pink shirt and double ponytail.
Oh,
we got Adam Peterman.
Adam Peterman sighting, folks.
Not racing, just cheering.
The Peter boy.
Who was the 4th fastest time at the Rut VK from 2022.
You can do it all, folks.
Yeah, so this is when I was in this race last year, and we start kicking up right when you take this kind of left turn up the fire road, and this is like you're questioning your existence.
Yeah, one other name I wanted to mention, Chad Trammell, or Trammell, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, even though he's a friend of mine. Another Alaskan down here has some studly results at Mount Marathon. He's just one of those crushers, a little bit off the radar, but has so much talent. I would not be surprised to see him on the podium here or close to it. He's running with that top women's group right now alongside Jen Lichter, which if you're going for the men's podium, running alongside Jen Lichter is a pretty good spot to be.
That's one thing that, credit to the Rut. They were able to attract the Alaskans down to do this race. I've raced up in Alaska, and their race courses are fierce. They do not believe in switchbacks. They barely believe in course markings. They just get to the top of the mountain, back down. And I can relate to that as someone who mountain runs in Ireland.
Little European.
We have the same opinion. Every year after year, the best of the Alaskans come down in force to do this race. So that gives That is a stamp of approval.
So many of the competitors here have results at Crow's Pass Crossing, a race I've never done, but it's just one of those old school legendary races along with like Zagama and Sierra Zanal that have just been around forever, legendary local races, Mount Marathon, the Rut, these races that mean a lot to the local community and, are or aren't world-class competitive races, kind of depends on the year and what sort of series they're a part of, but Crow's Pass has been a legendary race forever. And a lot of the competitors in this year's field have been up there, and I always love seeing that result on people's ultra sign up.
One thing I recall from last year, the bottom third of the race, you kind of skirt underneath the chairlift, the chairlift quite a bit. You can get a lot of good heckling from people from above you on the chairlift, which can help, and it can hold you back.
We're still waiting to see who that lead runner up top was. We kind of have a short list of who it could be, but I'd rather
it's kind of fallen back into the group now.
Okay.
The useful thing is that two of our favourites for this, Brian and Cam, are both wearing pink shorts, which is going to stand out, so that helps a bit. Yeah. I'm wondering, I guess in fourth place there, or in first place, the black is likely Ryan Becker. I keep seeing a glimmer of pink in sixth place, likely Brian, because I expect Cam might be in that group at the very front. I'm wondering who's in the blue t-shirt. The other one to keep an eye out would be orange, would be Micah, Stanford cross-country all-star. Also has exceptional talent in the mountains. When he lived in California, you would see him throughout the season training at Stanford, crushing cross-country races. But then in the summer, he's straight up into the high alpine, doing some pretty technical things. Yeah,
Mika, as far as raw speed, far and away the favorite here. We actually do have two guys in this field who have run sub 14 for a 5K, but Mika with a 13:39 5K PR in the mid 28s for a 10K. This is D1 talent, and he's fresh off that. He's 24, running for Brooks. This is a real pro runner here. He's not one of these skiers showing up. But this is the hybrid of where skiing meets running in terms of skill sets here. But Mika is he's such a talent.
As a matter of just to give people a perspective, so he can run a 13:39. What can Chris Brown run in the 5K?
I'd prefer not to talk about that, Patty, but presumably about 1.5 seconds faster than you at any given moment.
One unique thing about this course is that there is no downhill. As we look at some of the other VKs, Broken Arrow, for example, has a flattened downhill section in the middle, which is where the people with raw speed can maybe gap someone or can catch up with someone ahead of them. The Rut, it's all uphill, 2.8 miles, 3,600 feet. So it's like, think about every mile you're doing. Oh my God.
Look at the top.
That is winter up there.
Yeah, and Patty, to your point, when you do have those little breaks, whether it's a short flat section or even a downhill, that's an opportunity to kick a bunch of lactic acid out of your legs to kind of stretch out, stride out, so to speak. And that can be a total game changer. Some people can make that turnaround a little better than others, but that can be a serious advantage for certain folks. But like you said, this one totally relentless. Oh, I see Jen cruising along down there.
I saw Jen and I saw Claire with the white hat, blue shirt.
Claire is
right in her heel.
She's keying off Jen, which is such a smart move.
Yeah.
Jen is a fierce racer, tends to go out hot, doesn't tend to hold back. But, that's not to say she's not an intelligent racer. She just knows that she can do that. She can run from the front and hammer. She's got the capacity to hammer more than just about anybody.
So as we continue to discuss the women's field here, the other names that we were looking at from that we think could be in the mix for the women's field, obviously we got Jen, 3 times 50K champ. She's, I think, come 4th place in the World Championships. Claire Rhodes, she was 3rd place last year in the 50K. She's been 2nd at Broken Arrow to Tony McCann. She's been 2nd at Big Alta this year to Tabor Hemming. She's got talent, but she had that powerful Mount Marathon result this year. The other 3 we were looking at, Caitlin Patterson. She's a Nordic skier who's represented the US at the Olympics, I think, in 2018 and 2022.
That's correct. And she's been doing some more trail running lately, a lot of techie Northeast races, which plays right into this sort of course here.
Mm-hmm. And then another person that we were looking at was Tori Gerlach.
Mm-hmm. She is, in my opinion, the female side of the equivalent of Mika here. She is more of a pure runner. She's run sub 16, I think 15:54 at Penn State, 3rd at D1 Nationals in the steeplechase. So a little less experience on the trails here. But just in terms of raw speed and lung capacity, definitely the top contender here. So if she can translate into that into the short choppy steps you need in order to run straight uphill for 40 plus minutes, then she'll have a lot of success here.
To further reiterate her athletic speed and her athletic talent, she was a former member of the Tim Mann Elite Pro team, and she runs for Bandit Running now, who have been making moves in the last year or so. Another person we were looking at was Jenna Greaser, who I think we saw there.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in person before. I looked up some photos just to try to be able to ID her, but I think you're right. My guess is that was her early on, and she was right up in the mix, so seems to be at least putting herself in a position to compete with the top ladies here.
Fascinating thing about her is that we have a lot of people who approach the road from multi-sport background. She was world champion, U.S. national champion at fat biking.
Yeah.
She's also a downhill ski racer. Top 10 at the cyclocross and cross-country mountain biking champs as well.
Yeah, but she's also spent a little bit of time over the last year plus getting into ultra running. We saw her at the Minotaur, which that wasn't the ultra distance there, but I was looking at her results over the last year or so. She's got 250Ks and a 24-hour race at which she seemed to only attempt a shorter distance there, but she got about 40 miles in there. So she's been dabbling in ultras, so she's, seems to be transitioning. And, if one of the things I've learned from doing some of these hill climb races is that the cyclists tend to perform well. You get them on a flat, and it doesn't tend to work out, but if it's just pure uphill and lung power instead of, stride efficiency, then the cyclists hang with the best of runners.
Also given that she's from mountain biking background and for downhill skiing background and the descent, so not relevant for the VK, but she is doing the trifecta. So she'll do the 28K tomorrow and the 50K on Sunday, so I expect she might be reasonably fearless on the descents as well.
Yeah, it's I'm excited to see how she fares over all three distances. Especially, she's trained her legs a little more, doing those ultras over the past year, so she should hold up over the duration of the weekend, and she's got the downhill technical skill, plus it seems like probably the aerobic capacity to handle these sorts of courses.
So looking here now, we've the white tent in the front. That's the Swift Current aid station for the 28K, the 21K, the 50K over the rest of the weekend. They're going to cross up, and wow, are these already getting that? Isn't that maybe second place? That maybe Mika in the orange potentially, or could be Cam in the pink. My eyesight is not the greatest. That little forestry is the one little piece of wood that they go through for maybe a quarter mile, but then you can see the switchbacks up above it where they're getting up onto Bone Crusher Ridge. So then, say if we talked about the women's field, who we were predicting for the men's field to be in the mix. We mentioned Cam Smith. Cam is one of the most talented ski mountaineers, I think, in North America. Am I right?
I think he's been on the U.S. team countless times. And I think he's been one of the top guys on the U.S. Skimo team for a while, consistently. So, but he's also been doing this sort of racing too quite a bit. So
he struggled with injury the last 2 years, but he seems to have made it through that. He just did the trifecta at Broken Arrow. I raced against him there, and then he was just fourth place at the Cirque Series finals in A Basin with ahead of him. I think was Patrick Kipchego from Kenya was in first. This new kid, who I don't recall his name, from Texas, who's making waves second, and then Joe Gray third. And Cam was fifth in that event. But then he's repped USA 7 times in Skimo. He won the 28K here in 2022, and he was second in the VK in 2022 to Adam Peterman. Both of them ran the 4th and 5th fastest times in the Rut VK ever.
So he's been second here twice in the VK. It makes me realize we don't have a lot of former winners here. We've got a lot of folks who've been way up there. Do we have folks? Brian. So Brian Einstad is the only. Has Jen won the VK, or she's never done the VK, has she?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm not sure either, but I think it might just be Brian Einstad, he might be the only former winner here.
Ryan Becker, I think he may not have won it. I think he's won it. Been here multiple times, and he has podiumed several times in the VK. I think he's been second and third.
We got a lot of folks who have run well and podiumed multiple times.
Ryan Becker's come 5th, 3rd, and 2nd here, and he has ran in the 49 to 52 minute range, which that'll put you in the podium mix if you want to. But remember that what did our boy Remy Benet run? He ran 45:57. They set the course record here. So Ryan's going to be the mix. Mika, who we mentioned before, in the mix. Cam Smith. Brian Imstad. Brian he's a VK specialist, so he's been making his great consistent improvement over the last 3 or 4 years. I remember seeing him broken arrow for the first time back in like 2021. He won the abbreviated shorter course last year. The thing that I love about Brian, that he can come and perform, comes from sea level. He lives in Eugene. I think Eugene's sea level. Pretty close.
Pretty much, yeah.
But he has some fast times. He ran a Cornell, 30 years old. He's a 14:13 for the 5K, which is quite a lot faster than Chris's time.
Yep. And as a Cornell grad, you know he is considerably smarter than you, Paddy.
Ouch. And other things about, so yeah, VK specialist, broken arrow. He has moved up. He has finished 5th place in the broken arrow VK, and the depth of the broken arrow field, that's a world-class result.
Yeah, and he has beaten some of the guys in this field before. So it is fun to see these guys have raced each other.
Yeah.
You know, in races other than here at the Rut VK. So seeing how they've stacked up in other locations is interesting and plays into the predictions here.
One person we haven't mentioned yet is Griffin Briley, 17 years of age.
I think he's 18
now.
Well, I saw somewhere that he was 21, which makes me think a few years ago he lied about his age to get into a race with an 18-year-old cutoff. So you didn't hear that here, but it's just a theory.
He was 3rd place last year at 17 years of age, with Brian 1st, Mikey 2nd, him 3rd, and Paddy O'Leary 4th. Quite a bit behind them.
Yeah.
But he has...
That's a metric podium.
That's a metric. And he's run decently at Broken Arrow. At age of 16, he came 23rd in the Broken Arrow field. It was pretty damn impressive. And last year he was 7th in the 28K.
Mm-hmm.
So watch out for him.
He's been world champ at some... I don't know if it was Nordic skiing or skimo or what it was, but in the under 18 category, he's been a world champ at skimo. So like a lot of the people in this field, from the Pattersons to Cam Smith.
I think we haven't dug into Scott's results yet.
Yeah, Scott, you know, he's an Olympian. What more do you need to know? Sibling to Caitlin, he, like her, represented the U.S. at the Olympics in Pyeongchang and in 2018 and Beijing in 2022. Coming out of Alaska. And like I said, this is one of the guys I was mentioning who's been at Crow's Pass Crossing since I think before I was born. He's got 8 results, or he's got 8 wins there, and then a couple additional results. So yeah, just obviously that adds up to being a legendary technical runner.
Pre his Olympic days in like 2015 to 2018, he was a consistent participant here at the Rut. I remember racing him in the 50K in 2016. I think he might have been 3rd place that year. But he has come 3rd, 4th, and 3rd in the VK in the past. But that was in those years when it was Remy, it was Ricky Gates, it was Killian Jornet who were coming to compete in it. So they're pretty impressive results. More recently, he's won the Meet the Benator race up in Canada, and he's placed 3rd in the Speedgoat 50K. So, but kind of one of his coolest results, he mentioned Crow's Pass Crossing. He has won Crow's Pass Crossing 8 times. 2022, 21, 19, 18, 16, 15, 13, and 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty damn impressive. One person we have not mentioned yet from the men's field is a good friend of yours, Luke Galloway.
Luke Galloway, yeah. So he's a Missoula guy, you know, has limited results in ultra and trail racing. But those of us who know him and have run with him in Missoula know that he's just on a crazy upward trajectory. You know, running with him, he hangs with the best of the guys in that town. He runs with Adam Peterman, he runs with Jeff McGavero, and he hangs on the hills, right? He's been a great runner for a while, but there's this level of improvement that we're seeing in him that's really inspiring. Earlier this year, actually, he ran the Rufa 12-hour event, which, you know, laps on Mount Sentinel is about as boring as it gets. But the guy committed, ran 13 laps, which to those of us who know that event is just kind of unheard of. So he's definitely got both the climbing endurance and descending to be a factor here. And I think he's doing the trifecta, or I believe, which other event is he doing? He's doing one of the other distances, I forget which, but either way, this guy's primed for this event. I've been doing some track workouts with him actually recently, and the speed's coming in. So yeah, Luke's the man. He's definitely the local dark horse here.
Mm-hmm. So what, we are 17 minutes into it, so they're about a third of the way in. We think from what we saw on the camera there, the lead men at least, may have passed across Swift Current Aid Station. No, they have not. That was just hikers we saw out there.
Yeah. And sorry we're not giving you updates on the field here, but we don't have a close enough shot to identify who's up front in either the men's or the women's field. Hopefully we'll get that at some point. We can try to call people out. But
so we have Out and Outpost have sent some guys out onto the field, so we're going to have some cameras out there following the runners once they get into the upper half of the course. And thank you to our camera runners who are out there in pretty chilly conditions up there. So thank you for your service.
And for those of you in the chat, we're not paying attention, so don't ask any questions. And just to preempt some of them, Jim Walmsley is not running. Courtney DeWalter not running, and we will not be turning the camera to your nephew. Okay, we got leaders.
So I'm going to guess, so that pink short could be either Cam Smith or Brian Imstead. And that is Mika. That's Cam Smith in the lead. And that is Mika in second place.
Yeah, I have seen Cam in pink before, so I would believe you. I wouldn't count on my own eyes here, but if you're sure that's Cam.
No, that's definitely a white headband, and you can see kind of his glorious bushy red hair.
Yeah. Your eyes are better than mine, but as an Irishman, I'd trust you to spot a redhead.
We can just sense the redhead. It's just he's got those Celtic genes. We can.
Okay, and I see a camera starting to chase Mika in second there.
Let's see how long the cameraman can last.
And let's see if we can maybe get a shot from that person. I'm not sure if we will. You know, one thing I'm seeing, it could be a trick of the angle here of the camera, but it seemed like they hit a little bit of a steeper section, and to me, it looked like Cam took off on Mika a bit there.
And you can see Cam is using his poles. When you look at the elite runners here in the VK, it's kind of 50-50 between people who use poles and people who don't. A lot of the pure runners will refuse to use them. A lot of the people from the ski background, they know how to handle a set of poles. So
I can't decide who you're being condescending to in saying. And putting it that way, but I did notice at the start that, the poles seemed pretty much split 50-50 among the speedsters here.
So now this is going to be the 8. Okay, here we go.
All right.
So
we got a camera on the ground.
Walker.
Wow, they have a pretty big gap on third.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, we can see that. It's kind of like the shots if you're, watching footage of the Tour de France or something where you can really see someone pretty clearly behind them, but the camera makes it look closer
probably
than it is.
45 seconds.
Yeah.
Because you can see the person in blue, who we're unsure who that is yet, is just crossing that little single track.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Cam looks really strong. So I guess we spoke too soon about having no downhill sections here. We got a couple meters here at least. Cam didn't look like he really attacked that downhill. Looks like he might have been catching his breath, shaking out some of that lactic acid.
And now they're up into the woods here. So this is the one kind of closed, sheltered section of the course. Okay, 20 minutes.
Okay. We got Mika hot on Cam's heels.
It's now in the background. Here we go. That camera runner has been sticking with these boys for at least 2 minutes now, so kudos to him or her.
So we're probably near or a little before the halfway mark here.
Distance-wise, I think we're probably at or beyond the half, but time-wise, we're maybe to a third of the way in. I would guess this field, this may be a faster time than 2022 would be my prediction. Would they beat a Remy Benet high 45s? It could be challenging, but we could be seeing a time here in the 47s. That's my gut feeling. Yeah,
both of these guys look really strong right now, and one of the things that I'm looking at is how far ahead of third they are. This field is strong. It's not nobody's back there. So the fact that they are that far ahead of third, and I would assume third is running a pretty speedy time here. So
okay,
that looks like Forrest. Is that Forrest? He's one of our race staff here. I don't know. It looks like a racer, but
it's a racer. No, we've seen the blue shirt the whole way. That's Ryan Becker using poles.
Maybe it's
fourth place. Is that Scott Patterson in the blue long sleeve?
I bet it's Scott, and that's Ryan Becker.
That's Ryan Becker. He's got a TNF backpack. Okay.
And again, don't bother calling these folks out in the chat. Okay.
There's Brian Imstead in 6th. White T-shirt in 5th. I was unsure who that was. Yeah, that's Brian. Eugene, Oregon, represent. as someone who's raced against Brian quite a bit, it's been good and bad. He wears the bright green or pink shorts. You can see him if you're chasing him down, but more often than not, he's been chasing me. So I've looked over my shoulder and seen that pink shorts coming about to pass me. So it's a.
So the white shirt, that's the guy who went out in the lead here early. I'm wondering if that could be Luke, potentially. I feel bad because I know Luke.
So Luke was 12th here last year on the shortened course. But as you were saying, he's been doing a lot of speed work here.
Based on our predictions, the only ones we have left
with Griffin.
Would be Griffin. Yeah, Griffin or Luke. So I'll try to get a better look next time, see if it's one of them. Wow.
Yeah, Luke, Griffin. In the background, and then we also have that red and navy striped short.
Okay.
Or striped shirt is in 7th place.
I think that camera's probably heading back to catch the lead women.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, based on how far up Cam and Mika are, that we should be getting lead women through that aid station very, very soon.
So in the background, we see that fire road. That's going to be part of the 28K course and the 50K course tomorrow. They're
hitting their first bits of snow here. Doesn't seem like the trail itself has much snow on it, just a little bit of dusting to the side.
I think even there's been a lot of melt even since this morning.
Mm-hmm.
This ridge looked to be completely white when we saw it this morning, when we saw some of the original images coming from there. So I think a lot of it's going to melt. And I think, as far as I know, we're going to have,
we got Jen.
Jen Lichter.
All right, Jen. So Jen has pulled ahead of the 2nd place woman. I do not see one for quite a while after her. Oh, I wish I could see who that person right behind her was.
Okay, we got Santa Claus there's cheering. You are a total badass. The sign. Jen is looking fresh. She's moving through the flat section.
Yep.
Pretty well.
Pretty dominant here.
Right behind her, Alex Terek's hat. I'm unsure who the dude with the poles is. Right beside her. I think the TNF footwear. I'm not sure. But Jen, she's running through this. So she's running through this section. So she's feeling fresh. This is a steep section, even through the woods. As we know from this elevation profile, it just gets steeper and steeper as we go on this course.
Yeah, Jen is just so strong here. We don't quite know if she's done the VK here before. We're leaning towards no. I'm getting a no shake from the producer here. But nonetheless, she knows the Rut is her territory. She's been here and won the 50K multiple times. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of her turf. Okay,
look at that in the back. Oh my God. Beautiful ridge line. That'll be part of the 28K and the 50K tomorrow. Make sure to tune in for the live stream tomorrow. We got Olivia Amber and we got Chris Brown here with the 28K. I will be out there suffering my way through the 28K tomorrow.
We have a drone specifically assigned to you, Patty.
Yeah. And then the 50K will be Olivia Amber and myself will be behind the table here for the 50K. Chris will not be jumping into the 50K.
I sure won't.
Yeah. He's made the idiotic decision to sign up for a 100-miler in 2 weeks.
Regretting it. I'm honestly secretly hoping it gets smoked out so I can just go hop in a 100K somewhere.
Okay, all 2nd place. We've got Claire Rhodes.
Here we go, Claire. So she's not too far off of Jen. This is, I would say, we're kind of right on the verge of being still within striking distance. This is not. It's not a big enough gap that we're talking about. 2 separate races here.
Remember, we are maybe at the halfway point of the race. Actually, at this time, 26 minutes. The women's record is 52 with Laura Org. So I think maybe they could be running close to a 52, or I would guess maybe in around 53, 54, 55 for the winning time here today.
She's looking really strong, focused. You can see a little bit of pain on the face, but still strong stride.
Oh my God, look at these boys moving.
So we've had a camera on and off of Cam Smith and Mika here for, I don't know, what's it been, 10 minutes almost, and the gap has remained identical the entire time. It's maybe, 15 seconds here, 7 seconds, I'm counting.
God, look at the beauty of this course. If any of you are watching online, I hope this is the inspiration to come and sign up for the Rut next year.
Just over a 10-second gap here, and it's been basically that since the start. or since we first got eyes on these guys. Wow, what a shot. This is so cool.
So on this ridge line, to the left, it kind of just tapers off and slopes down to the left, but to the right, you have a pretty, maybe 1,000-foot drop over to the right. So there are some sections where you get onto solid rock, where you have to work yourself pretty close to the edge. But the majority of it is just scree to your left and to your right. They're pretty close to what was the finish line of the shortened course last year, which was just at the saddle. I would guess they are maybe 3-4 minutes from that.
So this is not Bone Crusher yet?
No, they're on Bone Crusher.
Oh, this
now.
is Bone Crusher,
Yeah,
and then they'll transition into Alto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which it gets steeper on Alto. Personally, I have not done Alto yet. It will be tomorrow. Yeah, so they're getting pretty close to the last year's finish. Yeah. Yeah.
We were just commenting here that Mika at the Broken Arrow VK this year, which was a pretty iconic event, super competitive. He passed Christian Allen in the last strides of the race. I saw a little video clip of that recently, and Christian took a couple of unlucky strides on some snow and went down to his knees, I think like 2 or 3 strides in a row, and just accidentally left a window open for Mika to get by. So those two guys really duked it out.
So look here, see, they're onto they're coming on the saddle. It just disappeared, but that was the finish line last year, and the time last year was, I think, 37:04 was the winning time for Brian, just ahead of Mike Sinceri. So at 29 minutes, they are running, I would guess, a faster time than last year. And look at that fresh snow in the background and that ridgeline behind.
Mm-hmm.
Stunning visuals.
Yeah, we'll see if there is any snow on the actual running surface here once we get up onto that higher ridge line. That could end up being a difference maker in the overall time here. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like snow's had any impact on the footing, at least not enough to slow down the time.
From our video from the finish line that was sent to us this morning, though, I would expect they are going to see some snow at the top.
I figured
no more than an inch, but
figured they'd be seeing it by now, but
yeah.
They still have a long way to climb.
Yeah. So now here, this is where the footing gets a bit challenging here, because there's a pretty steep drop to their right-hand side, runner's right, as they skirt along the right-hand side of this ridge. In about 50 meters, it's going to open out to a flat section, which, given Mika's running speed, that might be a chance for him to make up that gap on Cam.
Yeah, but when it gets so technical like this, like you can see Cam up front, and now Mika right where he is, there's a section that's you're almost come to a full stop before putting your next foot forward, and when you get into those sections, there's so much mental focus that is involved in continuing to move forward and keep your momentum. And someone like Cam, with that skimo background.
Yeah.
And that sense of himself on super technical terrain.
Oh, we got the start of the 21K here.
All right.
So there in the blue shirt, we got Olivia Amber of San Francisco, who is joining us on the live stream tomorrow and on Sunday.
All right.
I'm
excited to meet her. You've told me that she'll appreciate a crude sense of humor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she's going to have to.
Yeah, jeez.
There's only... Okay, so the drone is on his way back down.
Okay, really hoping to see a couple more shots of the women's race, especially past second. But then again, this is a pretty iconic
So now see where those people
guys
are? You can see there's actually a little bit of snow on the trail above that. That's where it flattens out for a section. It's actually pretty runnable for the next 1/8 of a mile after that. Then get closer to right when it starts up again. That was the stop of last year's course. Then it just disappears into the fog up above. So I'm guessing we'll have cameras on the ground up there. Not sure if the drone would go in there. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Welcome to winter, folks. Again, this was warm and sunny like 36 hours ago.
Okay, so we're 32 minutes in. Prediction? They're probably about 2/3 of the way through now.
Who do we got here?
That is Brian.
That is Brian. I'm going to assume.
White hat, black shirt,
I'm
pink
going to assume we're
shorts.
looking at third here. But he was in, what place was he in before?
He was in fifth. Who we thought was Scott Patterson.
Yep.
The blue shirt guy was in third place. Ryan Becker was in fourth place in all black. And then Brian, I think, was in fifth with someone else with him.
He wasn't that far. He was closer to people at that point. He's
And
either
now-
been gapped or he's gapping. Oh, I see a
But
white
now
shirt.
you see someone further ahead.
Yep. Okay. So
and you
he's.
can see the two boys.
Yep. So we're looking at third, fourth, and fifth here. Looks like Brian Einstad's in fifth.
White shirt guy is in fourth.
Which.
However, then blue shirt guy is missing. I think we just.
Oh
may
no,
not-
I saw him. I saw him up there.
Okay.
He's up there.
So would that be Brian in sixth? White shirt in fifth. Ryan Becker in fourth. Blue shirt guy in third.
Oh, Ryan
The
Becker.
two
I forgot
boys.
about him.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll try to sort that out.
Because there's some sections where they disappear behind the ridge
Yep.
to the left-hand side, runners left, and I think I've seen 3 runners ahead of Brian,
Okay.
quite close to each other.
Okay, and we have a shot of seventh there. Anyway, this is just gratuitous nature footage.
What's
Not
our
a lot
guess?
of
Where
insight on the course here.
do we
or
think
the
Jen is
race.
inside the top 10?
I would say she's right. Yeah, probably right about there. So probably close to getting her a shot of her on that ridge line.
The race that actually we haven't talked about at all is probably the most important race of the weekend. It's the jorts race.
Oh, the jorts race.
The jorts race inside the VK. I've seen 2 pairs of jorts in that group just ahead of us on the camera. None of the elites wearing jorts, which is actually surprising. Last year, there was definitely someone in the top 5 or 6 had jorts on, so maybe disappointing. There we got Jen Lichter. She is still running strong, and I don't think she's too. I think she might be well inside the top 10 overall. So that's Jen, 34.17. She has passed through this section. Can we see second place, who is likely Claire Rhodes? The blue there, is that the guy who was initially third place after dropping back? Probably not. This guy is
Probably
wearing a
not. That'd
blue
be too far
windbreaker.
back.
We do not see Claire Rhodes. She'll stand out pretty well in
that-
the blue IKB TNF
Mhm.
shirt.
Yeah, it's a North Face kit. So Jen's got a pretty commanding lead here. Okay, I just got I got some intel from the course here that so remember the red and black striped shirt?
Yes.
That's Luke. And he is
That's Luke
in
Galloway.
jorts. He is
In jorts.
He's in jorts.
Ladies and
So
gentlemen,
Luke Galloway,
Luke Galloway
in jorts.
is leading the most important race of the weekend after the rut, which I can never say the kids race. The most important race is the jorts inside the VK, and Luke Galloway is currently leading it.
Yep. Yeah. So he was up in maybe the top 8 or so, and within striking distance of the top 5 last time we saw, which was back near that aid station. So
Luke
look for him to be
Galloway,
a factor.
For all of the different chafing agent nut butter people out there, Luke Galloway is currently looking for a sponsorship that he's going to need badly at the end of this race.
We're looking at you, Chris
So,
Thornley.
Hit him up. Chris, where do you think you would be at this moment?
I would be at the base with a latte, which is exactly where I am now.
Now as we zoom in, you can see those boys were running this section, and you can see how gnarly it is. There is a trail that when you look from the drone, you can see the trail, but once you look up close, it is not fun terrain. Oh, there is a jorts and a jean jacket.
Wow.
We've got a full Canadian tuxedo going on here.
Impressive.
That is Jen Lichter, who's going through the technical section of the course. I would guess she is about 4 minutes behind the lead men. And I would predict she is probably in 10th place overall right now.
I would think that's about right. We got a couple folks in front of her.
2 ahead of her, that was the guy with the poles who was right behind her going through the woods. You can see that guy in the tights and the blue windbreakers on his hands and knees coming through this section. That really puts into perspective that this is a gnarly course. And as expected from a Mike Foot organised event. You're a bad man, Mike Foot. Right through where blue windbreaker guy is now. Look at him holding on to the left-hand side. That
Yeah.
is quite a significant drop below him there. And that drop actually pales versus the previous ridge line, which we'll see in the 28K and the 50K.
I see a little fear in his body language right now.
I've been that guy. Can someone remind me what the first ridge line is in the 28K? This is Bone Crusher. What is the other ridge?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I've never been here.
Can we give a kudos to the drone operator here for this spectacular views?
What a choice by Jen to just start running again on a section like this. Just found a couple of steps that she could run, switched into that gear. She is a fighter.
Every single mountain running athlete should do a VK at some stage in their life. It is one of the most unique feelings you will get in your life. All 40 to 60 minutes you're doing this, you are physically dying. But then it's remarkable. You finish the race and within 60 seconds, you're fine. You can go out to do it all again tomorrow. So I would recommend giving it a shot. Never will you feel so much pain. That is only temporary. So
it just occurred to me, one of the results that we should be talking about for Jen Lichter in advance of this race is her dominance of the treadmill challenge in 2023. So Jen Lichter, treadmill challenge, also hosted by Runner's Edge Events. So yeah, she's proven that she can run uphill, whether it's a 10% grade or this.
Could you tell us what is the treadmill challenge?
Yeah, so it's 10 minutes on a treadmill at 12% grade, and you adjust your own speed, and it's whoever runs the farthest distance. And the cruel part of it is it's 3 people on a treadmill at a time, and the top 3 go to the finals. So she not only had to run all out on a treadmill for 10 minutes at max grade, she had to do it again 45 minutes later.
Yeah.
So talk about a sufferfest. That's what she's in for today.
Okay, so let's compare to last year's time. So Jen is about to hit the flat section and about 2-3
That's not
minutes.
a flat section. Look at it.
Flat hit. 2 or 3 minutes from here is last year's finish, which Danielle did it in 45.50. I would guess Jen is going to hit that section in 42, so she looks to be running quite a bit faster than the fast time last year. Jen is walking through the section. That's better, Jen. Okay, we can see blue ahead of her. We can see white guy ahead of her. Now we wonder, where is Claire Rhodes behind Jen? Because Claire, Mount Marathon champion, she is very good in the technical stuff, and it's going to get pretty damn steep coming to the end of this.
Yeah, and if anything is a good indicator going into this race, it's that Mount Marathon ascent.
Yeah. I wonder how much Jen is thinking about her race tomorrow, where she's doing the 28K in a pretty deep field. Claire is doing the 50K on Sunday, also in a deep field. Oh my God.
So we're at 40 minutes and 22 seconds, keeping in mind the course record is 45.57, so doubtful that we're going to see a course record today, but we are on finish line alert here.
We give a little shout out to Zach Marion, our producer, behind the table, keeping us in line here. What is said on this live stream is, I don't know, Mountain Outpost cannot be held to blame for what comes out of Chris and my mouths throughout this live stream. We have signed a waiver.
All right, more artistic drone footage.
One thing now that over the last couple of years, well, until last year when they decided then Rut has moved from Labor Day date to later in September. That has changed the weather dynamic of this event. 2 weeks later, like literally winter came in the last 2 days. So I think we are fortunate that I was out here Monday through Wednesday and it was just smoky. So I think this may be a better situation than an AQIA of 150.
Yeah, a little bit of a grass is greener situation. I feel like once they finish, their sweat starts to cool. They might have taken smoke over the frigid temps.
Yeah. Oh, we're having some fun up here. Okay, so this is just above the trees, above Swift Current. We got the runners are coming fast and strong here.
Okay, so we should be getting pretty close to some finish line footage. Not sure if we're going to have a runner running in with them or just a shot at the top. Seems a little foggy for a drone to be useful up there.
Is that a Western? Is that button-up shirt? Is that a Western States 50-year? No, it's not. It's just a standard Hawaiian mountain shirt, Hawaiian shirt. You know what I'm quite surprised about?
What's that?
We haven't seen a single top shirtless runner here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, usually there's some crazy Alaskans or Montanans who just love wearing no shirt.
Well,
in this city event.
Chad's here. He's got his shirt on, which, like you said, surprising as the Alaskan who usually takes it off. Monty Cole not here. He's usually a shirtless one.
Is that a Yeti?
That's something.
That is something.
That's a tropical Yeti.
It's
it
the
could
tropical
be a
abominable snowman. Oh, and we've got some palm trees up here on the top of Lone Peak. And
that's a palm tree to the folks at home.
And okay, now look at the how the camera, which probably has a stabilizer on it, is moving over and back. And there is one of the original founders of the Rut. We got Mike Wolf.
Proudly competing in the Jorts division. With a little kiddo next to him.
Yeah. There's such a transition point between what they're looking here now. You may not realize there was snow. To 10 minutes later, these people are going to be walking into running into a true winter experience. One thing you could see that the camera was shaking quite a bit, and that camera has a stabilizer. That shows it's likely pretty windy up at the top. So yeah, look at that bounce.
Yeah, you wonder which direction that wind's coming from, whether it's going to be in their face or at their butts coming up the last push.
So you can see there's 2.95 miles per hour wind speed at the bottom. At the top, yeah, it's ripping a little bit. So we are at 44.30. Course record is 45.57.
No sign of them yet.
No sign of them yet. I'm going to guess that we are going to have someone in the 46s is my money.
I think that's fair. Cam was looking strong, and like I said, that gap between him and Mika back to third is pretty indicative that these guys are running really well up front.
So remember, Cam has run the 5th fastest time historically at the Rut VK. He ran in 2021 against Peterman. He ran a 47.04. Adam Peterman in 4th place has ran a 46.41. The great Ricky Gates, 46.26, where he finished just behind Kilian Jornet at 46.12. Then to Remy Benet at 45.57. We look at the women's, the top 5 times. Ingvild Kaspersen in 2015 ran a 45.15.
Sorry to cut you off, but is this that might have been a Larry Peterman sighting.
We have some bells ringing here. Some bells ringing by the abominable snowman would suggest that the runners are about to come into sight. And just while we do that, the top 5 women's times, Ingvild from 2015 ran a 55.15. Laura Org in 2017
Here they come. Cam, sorry to cut you off, Patty. We got Cam coming to the finish.
We got Cam.
Right now
45.49. He is 6 seconds away from the CR. Go, 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 go.
He just missed the CR, but he is heading to the finish. Just a few more seconds to go. He's going to be 46 low, it looks like.
He has to jump through a cable. And the finish line is in sight. 46.10.
Wow. So it looks like he got somehow off course a little bit there. We'll have to see. I don't know if there's a rules situation there.
This is also the Rut. So
it's also the
Rut.
Rut.
If they were going to put you climbing through barbed wire, they probably would.
Yeah. So maybe there could be a situation with the snow and course marking up there. But
I wonder because they just built this new ski lift, I wonder is this the same finish line as on a typical course? Because I don't think, was there a building up there 7-8 years ago?
I'm not sure.
So I've a funny feeling that this course might be marginally shorter than previous years.
We should be looking for Mika here meters. Soon, and it looks like he might have given up the chase on Cam a little while back, because we are at now 45 seconds back, and we're just now seeing Mika come into view here. So it looks like in that last third of the race, Cam put looking like it's going to be about 90 seconds on Mika. Really impressive finish there by Cam. Wow, second fastest all time.
Yeah. At this stage, Cam second fastest all time,
Yep.
and Mika is probably going to
Wow.
maybe the 6th fastest all time potentially.
Oh, this guy's trudging.
He's
Look at that.
trudging
He's
through
locked up. Oh.
Yeah, Cam definitely went off course going through the wires.
Oh, he just went. Yeah. Okay.
For seconds, people, this is fine. We're not going to.
If anything, it's
let's
slowed
not
him
be
down.
petty here.
All right. Mika crossing the line in 47:43,
7:43, which will put him 9th place on the all-time list, with JP Donovan, David Sinclair, Cam Smith all ahead of him.
And you can see your race officials at the top, triple layered in puffies and
in
wind
the
shells
ridiculous unnecessary red gloves, I think we have a Zach Miller sighting. Zach, come on, you're tougher than that.
All right,
third place, we got Ryan Becker coming in here. So Ryan continues his run of podiums at the Rut VK. Ryan is also doing the 50K on Sunday.
Is this gonna be his fastest time?
I would expect so.
I think it may well be his
he's
best
ran
result.
always 49 to 52 on previous times here. So he is just ahead.
These guys are skating a bit on this snow, so you got to factor in a few seconds of effect there.
So Ryan Becker has ran his PR at the Rut VK in a
Awesome,
very
Ryan.
strong 3rd place in a very deep field. Bells are ringing. Here's 4th place. So we're guessing this is likely Scott Patterson. Careful on the back there, Zach. No injuries in the room here, please. I'm thinking that's got to be Scott Patterson.
I think that's Scott. Can't guarantee it, but process of elimination, I think that's Scott.
So that is the top 4 through.
Top 4 under 50. That's impressive.
I'm going to look at Scott's face from our trusty Google Doc to see if I can figure that out.
All right, we got 5 and 6 coming in right now. Maybe just 5 in the spectator.
Yeah, I think it's 5 in the spectator. I am unsure who this athlete is.
That could be Griffin, would be my guess.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that was Scott Patterson in 4th place.
We're guessing Griffin here. Not 100% sure.
Okay, so if that is the top 5, do we have the times? Or do we have the confirmation of who the top 5 is? So both myself and Chris did our prediction of the top 5, and I regretfully listened to some of Chris's comments and changed mine last minute, and I think I dropped Scott Patterson out of my top 5.
Oh, you sure did. Why would you listen to me?
I don't know. I question that every time I hang out with you. So my own top 5 guesses, I was doing 5th place, Brian Imstad. In 4th place, Griffin. In 3rd place, Ryan. In 2nd place, Micah. And in 1st place, Cam. So I did correctly predict the top 3.
I had Mika and Cam flipped for 1, 2. Then I had Brian, Ryan, and Luke, who we haven't seen cross the finish yet.
So I am much more knowledgeable in the sport of VK running versus our friend Chris Brown.
Well, I don't doubt it. Adds up.
So we are going to have some conversations with our podium finishers, with our guy on the finish line, which maybe I think Zach Miller might be our interview guy. But we will get, I expect, the top 3 ladies through first. So we're at 51:10. Is Jen going to break the CR of 52:20? The fact she has 60 seconds to do that. We do not see any aggressive bell ringing yet. So that would make me think she is not going to make it under that time. Traditionally, when we've been seeing people come into the eye shot of that camera just below, they've had about a minute to get to the top, or maybe less. I see someone crouching down, that may be a camera person. Okay.
Who do we got there?
This to me looks like a youthful person, so this could be Griffin.
That looks like a Griffin.
So then who is in 5th?
So Griffin took both 5th and 6th, according to us.
Very impressive.
That's an amazing result.
2 places at once. And now we got Brian Imstad, I think, in 7th place.
Yep.
Still a tremendous result in that in this field.
A little disappointing, based off his first place last year. But nonetheless, this field in these conditions, you got to be happy with that.
Actually, the interesting thing is who's going to be the first place from the sea level people. Because Cam lives at elevation.
Wouldn't it be Brian?
Lives in elevation. Ryan lives at elevation. The mystery fourth and fifth, it depends. If that was Scott Patterson in fourth. Does he live in Alaska still, or is he living in the Mountain West?
I'm not sure. But Brian Einstad, I believe, is at sea level. Here we go. We got Luke Galloway winning the jorts division. We might need to get a inspection on those jorts because they look
synthetic.
Yeah, they look synthetic to me. We'll have officials at the finish line here to do a test. But celebrating like he should. Again, if the jorts pass standard, then he is the winner of the jorts division.
What an ominous sight, those ridge lines at the back. This is such a stunningly beautiful mountain course. Ladies and gentlemen, this is proper sky running. This is the most sky running of the events we have here in the US. It's so impressive. Come run the Rut. Just be very quick on your computer because the minute the entry is open, they sell out in seconds. So you gotta be quick.
All right, we're on Jen Lichter watch here.
I really wonder what they're like. If Jen, is she going to ease off in that last third with a view on her race tomorrow?
Yeah, it really depends what she's in it for today. Is she hoping to give her best performance on today and then just see what she's got the following day, or is she really?
Okay, I think this is 9th place overall. This is the guy who approached the forestry with Jen.
Yep, so she should be close behind.
I think Jen might be, I think this may be 9th.
Yeah.
I think in the beige looking shirt behind, maybe 10th. Jen maybe 11th overall. Oh no, is that Gus Gibbs? Is that that is a Gus Gibbs sighting.
Gus Gibbs.
Wow, how did he sneak onto the entry list here? Gus Gibbs is here working for Scratch Lab. And he is just about to take 10th place and the first place person in a button-up shirt.
That's a competitive division.
Gus Gibbs, 54.45 to what we think is 10th place. This guy was just ahead of Jen, so this is 11th, and I expect we are going to see Jen Lichter coming soon. Probably in 12th place overall. She will not break the course record. She is running 55.08 now.
They have to fight another day.
So the top 10 times, the 10th fastest time is 59.05 by Emma Tarbath. Anna-May Flynn has done 58.37. Maita Marioa Elizondo, 57.30.
Good try.
Emily Forsberg, 57.20. And Grace Staberg, 55.17. So there's likely Jen is fighting for Emily Forsberg's time at 7th place on the overall list. This is blue windbreaker guy who was just ahead of Jen when we were looking further down. Bearded, has a kind of a Pat Parcell look to him, but Pat Parcell is not here this weekend, so I don't think that is him. One interesting actually is look at the fastest Montana times here. So the top 5 Montana men has been Jesse Cairns, Mike Foote, Jason Donald, Mike Foote, and Adam Peterman. Was there any Montana men here today? Here we got Jen Lichter in sight.
Here we go.
56.17. If she wants to pass Emily Forsberg's time for 7th place overall, she needs to get a 57.20.
I think she's got that.
We think she's got it.
She's about 20 seconds away, perhaps.
So Jen is about to take the victory at the Rut VK. You can see the footing. She's sliding around a little bit there. So this is a gnarly course. The conditions really amplified the rutness of Mike Foote's race. Okay, Jen is finishing strong. Is she going to get? She's just going to miss out going under 57. 57 on the button. So that would put her into 7th place overall. Just taking
overall in the all-time list.
And interestingly, we look at the Montana list prior to today for the fastest 5 Montana women. Annie Haas with a 102, Marley Wath 102, Marley Wath once again 101, Emily's Von Clem, shout out to Emma, good friend of mine, 59.43, and Emma Tarbarth had the previous fastest time from Montana at 59.05.
Welcome to the top, Jen.
Just took the top Montana time. Jen of Missoula, Montana. I think.
Yeah, living in Missoula now.
Chris Brown, also Missoula, Montana.
Yep.
He is not in the top 5 overall.
Oh, we got list. Chad coming in.
Chad Trammell, Alaska. Always a top contender at the Mount Marathon. Just under 58 minutes.
Usually shirtless. We don't usually see him like this, but happy to see him put some clothes on. Where are we?
I have done Mount Marathon myself 2 years ago, and I went with a shirt, and the looks of disdain I got from the Alaskan people. Okay, speaking of Alaska, Claire Rhodes, 2nd place.
Okay, so
58.20.
She, as far as we could tell, she gained quite a bit on Jen there, or at least held a gap that Jen gained really early in the race.
Okay,
so coming in 58.30, only 90 seconds behind Jen.
That's going to Jen. Dropped Emma Tarbarth out of the top 10 overall, and now Claire just dropped Anna Mae Flynn out of the top 10 overall. So that time would put Claire into the 10th fastest time at the Lone Peak VK for women.
Nice.
On a pretty rough terrain course, or pretty rough weather conditions. Okay, so who are we going to see into 3rd place? Okay, we need a bathroom break for Chris Brown. His bladder struggles with bladder issues, I'm afraid. Okay, now I think we do have another button-up shirt. Oh, and here we go. We got a guest presenter, our producer.
Patty, I'll step in with you for a moment.
Yeah.
Hey, what a fun day. What an amazing race.
We just had 2nd place on the button-up shirt division. Just passed as a division I just invented.
I was going to say, I think you're creating divisions out here.
Yeah, Mike, you have a lot of prizes to give out that you weren't initially planning to.
You weren't expecting on that. No, that for those of you who are like me at home and you have never actually seen the Rut in person, being able to see this, and it's an honor and a pleasure for Mountain Outpost to be able to bring you guys and gals this race at home, and just to see how insanely beautiful this course is. And what I didn't know, like I always knew it was like a tough VK, a tough mountain course. I never knew how steep these final pitches were, and how cruel Mike Foote is for making you work all day and then have to go, spend your last couple pennies of energy up that that final climb.
So we just crossed over the 60-minute mark. So typically on VK races, you're seeing the winning times in the mid to high 30s, and a lot of runners are getting under 60 minutes. There we go, the third place woman. Oh my God, I wish we had an idea who that was.
Anybody
I think
on the
guess
chats,
is
please
likely going to be Caitlin Patterson, would be my guess.
I would assume there's been a couple outfit changes and jackets going on and off and whatnot, and we got a drone pilot up there, but we just can't get anything in the air given the visibility right now.
We have our jorts podium finisher there. That may have been 2nd place in the jorts. I'm guessing that was Caitlin Patterson. That may have been Caitlin Patterson, because it was someone with dark hair. Tori. I don't think it was Tori, and I don't think it was Jenna Greaser.
Yeah, it's insane to me. The clouds keep rolling in and out here. Like
the wind looks to be getting a bit stronger too. We have a little bit of a throwdown between two people there.
I think we're going to start seeing,
and that is the 4th
one of our gals,
female right there.
Yeah. I think we're going to start seeing, times getting a lot shorter between finishes.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get lucky and see a few sprint finishes.
Yeah. So that was kind of a sprint finish with the 4th place lady was trying to chase down the fella just ahead of her. So we're just crossing into 1:02. So we are out of the top 10 overall times. Remember we were saying that Claire took the 10th fastest time at the VK.
Yeah, and given that we had to make a pivot since we couldn't keep our drone pilots, we are adjusting to have both of our videographers are being utilized to capture these final strides for everybody at home. We are not going to be getting the finish interviews. And we also don't want to keep our runners up at the top of the mountain right now. Let them come down and warm up. They don't need to be spending their time in the freezing cold. But I mean, for those of you at home who have never been out here and are seeing this for the first time, like, this is what makes the Rut iconic and absolutely a beast of a course.
What I love about the Rut is that this is a true, like, Europe invented sky running. Europe has the high alpine technical courses, up, down, so steep. So this it truly shows us a European style skyrunning course. However, it has such a Montana flavor to it as well. The jorts, the after party. This is true Montana. As a Montana resident, what about the Rut reflects true Montana in your eyes?
Just rugged, grassroots. The fact that it's born from Mike Foote, Mike Wolf, just the spirit of this race. It doesn't feel like a big high production event. It feels really rooted in the community. And there's just this kind of, I don't know, there's a Montana trail running ethic of being humble about doing pretty extreme things. So you got people here who don't really talk about how extreme their results are and how extreme the sort of runs they do are. So it's just people are kind of just throwing down a casual VK on some of the most technical and gnarly terrain.
So we have had our top 10 men have finished. We think from what we've seen, the top 4 women have passed through. Jen Lecter took the win in, I think, the 7th fastest time. Whoa, we got a bit of a stumble there, but we're good. No injuries. You got through in one piece, buddy. Good stuff. Jen took first place. And then in second place was the Mount Marathon champion, formerly Reno, Nevada, and now in Alaska, Claire Rhodes, second place. This might be the 5th place lady coming through. There it is. Blonde hair. That maybe
could be Tori.
That could be Tori. And 6th place right behind her.
Oh man, that is.
Oh, look at that. The minute you cross the finish line at the VK, you collapse. Well, traditionally you collapse onto the ground, but now you're in an inch of snow, so maybe that's not the optimal thing. But you can see the hands and the knees bending over. You are just trying to get what semblance of a breath you can get back. In about 60 seconds, they're going to be all right. But
so I'm looking at the results here, and we did have Caitlin in 3rd. That was our 3rd place.
That was Caitlin Patterson.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at our predictions of the top 3 women and see how we did.
I had Jen Claire Tori.
Just there, that was just Jenna who just crossed to, I think it was pink with pigtails.
Oh, okay.
Jenna, who's the fat biking US champion. You had Tori 3rd, Claire 2nd, Jen 1st.
I did.
So he got 1st and 2nd correct. I had Caitlin 3rd, and sorry Jen, but I sneaked Claire into 1st. On the back of that Mount Marathon victory, but Jen proved me wrong. It was 3rd place Caitlin, 2nd place Claire, 1st place Jen. So our top 5 women are through. Okay, so we've got the updated results. Chris is going to break down the top 10 if you go down to 10th place. And
so as we saw, we had Cam, Mika, and Ryan. I'm not sure if these are official here yet or not, but we
also have an interview at the podium. Okay,
and these results don't seem totally accurate, so we're going to
go over to Zach Miller.
Okay, are we good? They got it?
Oh, you're good.
All right. Okay, here we go. Zach Miller here, live at the summit with some very fast dudes. Guys, how was it out there? We'll start with you, Cam. Yeah, that was different than any other year, that's for sure. The snow made it pretty slick and fun and exciting, and it really felt like we were out on an adventure. And after 2 years without being on the peak, it's fun that everyone's racing through full on winter to get there. Yeah, definitely a little spicy conditions today. So, but your time was pretty quick, like just over, like it was clicking through the 45s as you came up. I think you ended up like 46:30 or something like that. So well done out there.
Thanks.
So, Mountain Man Meek, how was it for you? Tell the world.
It was epic out there. True, authentic mountain running. Running up a snow-covered mountain. It was really fun. I think the absurdity of the conditions really made it particularly cool. The first half was nice and fast, and man, that second half was something. Was just slipping around so much, but glad to have come out here and raced. It was great.
Sweet. And Ryan, for you, coming from the high altitude of Colorado there, you probably fared pretty well with that aspect, but how was the snow and everything else for you?
Yeah, it was nice. I was just pretty excited to come back here. This is kind of like the first mountain race that I did, so after a couple years away, it's really awesome to come back here, and I think pretty awesome to do this course in the snow. Very different than years past. Even 3 days ago, I was worried it was going to be like 300 AQI, and now it's like 3 inches of snow on the top. It's pretty funny. So, yeah, I had a good time and happy to be back.
Yeah. Definitely prefer the snow over the smoke. I came from the smoke of Oregon, and that is no fun. So, one last question for all three of you guys before you leave. Very important. If you had to fight, what would you rather fight? 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? I'll give you each a crack. Which would you prefer?
I think I'll go the duck-sized horses, because then I know like I have like the line of sight. Like I don't want that like those ducks to fly above me, or the duck-sized horse get the advantage,
Yeah. Good call. How about you?
I think I'd go with one horse-sized duck. I feel like at least I could outrun that.
You better, because if not, you're getting pecked to death. Brian?
I was going to say, does anyone ever choose the horse-sized duck? But I guess so. I would definitely the 100 little horses.
Yeah, I'm with you. You just kick those suckers. So
You think?
Zach Miller with the tremendous
definitely
insight
the
into features.
100 duck-sized horses for sure. Any day.
Zach,
All
one,
right, thanks. Real warm.
can you hear us, Zach?
Yeah, I can.
So yeah, one comment, like beyond the duck-sized horse critical discussion. We think that Cam actually just ran the second fastest time. He just beat Killian's time by 5 seconds.
Oh, sweet. We can talk about that when we interview the women. No, we can just note it at some point in the broadcast.
So Zach,
I knew it was fast. I thought someone said course record was like 45 something, but
45:57. He lost it by.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to
seconds.
mess it up on in front of the whole world.
Yeah. Even if you do, Zach, the people love you. One thing, Zach, what are the conditions like up there? We can see it looks a little bit windy. The flags are flapping in the wind. How does it feel?
Oh, it's about half cold up here. That's a Pennsylvania terminology. It's pretty nippy. I've got my big mittens on.
Is that overkill?
It's not. There's like, these are a shell. There's like nothing in here. So I could actually use more. But no, it's cold, and the footing is like, I'm very impressed that Cam ran so fast in the footing. I mean, I could only see the last bit, but it didn't look like fast footing to me or feel like it. It's a little breezy. The clouds cleared for like a moment, and now they're back in. So, I think people are getting up here and then probably getting right to their drop bags and then over to the gondola. It's not really a beach day up here.
We've seen a few people stumble over that little crest just before the finish line, so it does look to be pretty slippery up there.
Yeah, definitely some awkward footing. So I think it's awkward with or without the snow, but this snow is pretty slick. So not doing them any favors.
Okay. So if we're going to look back at actually the top 10, we had just called out out the top 10. Oh no, we hadn't called out the top 10 men, so we're going to scroll down to the 10th. In 10th place, we had the great Gus Gibbs out of Boise, Idaho. 9th, Christian Winker. 8th, Luke Galloway. 7, last year's champ, Brian Imstead. 6th, 18-year-old Griffin Riley. 5th, Florian Winker, who sneaked on. Who's from Freiburg. Is that Pennsylvania? No, that's Germany. Yeah, Florian Winker, that's definitely Germany. 4th in... Oh! Do we have two brothers?
I think it's
9th
brothers.
and 5th. Christian Winker and Florian Winker. 4th place, Scott Patterson, Anchorage, Alaska. 3rd, Ryan Becker. 2nd, I'm going to try it, Mikhail Boudon Rousseau.
Let's go with that.
And 1st, Cam Smith. Let's look. You can select the gender if you go... Yeah. Let's go to top 10, so we
I
call
don't
them
think
out
I
loud.
can
Just-
top 10 here.
Just... Oh, yeah. Just go all females. Or, sorry, just go all. So, and if you
Mhm.
bump the down thing there... Oh, better off if you just throw up a gender. No. Alright. Bear with us, we got some Chris Brown IT issues right here, right now.
Working on it.
Zach, what other insights have you got for us at the top?
It's so cold. People are rolling in.
Question for you,
there's
Zach.
A lot of yeah.
Have you seen anyone running shirtless yet?
Well, Mountain Man Meek came up in like a full-on Brooks racing kit. Like, I think he was in a singlet, maybe. A singlet or t-shirt. And yeah, there's a gentleman coming across right now in a t-shirt. But he's got the long tights on there too.
I know I'm coming from sunny California, but I'm going to express some disappointment in the Montana and the Alaskan visitors that everyone is fully wearing a shirt. I thought you were made of tougher stuff up here. I actually will wear a shirt tomorrow, though. Okay, we're going to call out the top 10.
We're going to have to go in reverse order just due to my lack of ability to sort a spreadsheet here, but we'll go starting with the winner. Go ahead, Patty.
Take it away, Chris.
Okay, we got in first place Jen Lichter, 56.57. Like we said, what is that? All time
7th, I think.
Amazing. Okay, Claire Rhodes in second, 58.28.
10th all time.
In third, we had Caitlin Patterson, just over an hour, 1 hour 26 seconds.
Her brother was 4th.
Marilee Woith, I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name, I'm sorry, but she...
Prior to today, she had ran the 3rd and 4th fastest times from Montana.
Mm-hmm. Great Falls, Montana, legendary Montana runner, 4th overall, 101.30. 5th place woman, we had Danny Stack in 104.31.
Bozeman local.
Chelsea Pummel in 6th, 104.38. That was a close finish between those two, just
Bozeman local.
7 seconds separating them. Jenna Greaser in 7th, 105.16. In 8th, Maya Rail, 107.20. In 9th, Jennifer Kunzman,
Driggs, Idaho.
just under 110, 109.59. And 10th place, Devin Thurber, 110.42. And that's what we have for a top 10.
Devin
at the
came here from
moment.
Bisbee, Arizona, so quite a contrast in weather if Bisbee is not up in the high mountains.
And I heard you mention, or Zach mentioned, that it's not exactly a beach day, despite seeing the palm trees up there that we can see just before the finish line.
We are seeing a solid floral shirt representation up here, which I appreciate.
Very on theme for the day.
So it's interesting to see how many runners from the top 5 and 10 in both the men's and women's fields are doubling back or tripling back for other races. So we've got the not the Triple Crown, what is participating all 3 events called? The trifecta. We've got the Rut trifecta participants. Looking here, I think Scott Patterson is leading it. Scott Patterson is leading the men's trifecta. So it's the cumulative fastest time of all 3 events. So as he approaches into the 28K and then into the 50K, he's going to, especially to the 28K tomorrow, he's going to be thinking about he has to run a 50K the following day.
Yeah, so you got to think, for example, with Jen, did she decide to hold back in the second half?
Yeah.
Or was she actually just getting fatigued? Because like we said, that lead she got on Claire Rhodes seemed to be pretty much established in the first half of the race, and it didn't really grow after that point. So did Jen look back when she got to the ridge and say, I got it, I'm going to kind of jog it in? Or did she go out hot? I would kind of tend to, it's hard to say because Jen's such a competitor. I wouldn't think her to be the type of person who would shut it down and just coast in. But on the other hand, she does have an important race coming up, so it could go either way.
One thing I want to look at here is that who is the fastest time out of sea level. Mika claims Sunnyvale, California, but he lives in Boulder now. Scott Patterson, potentially Anchorage, Alaska at sea level. Freiburg, BW, Bavaria or something.
Not sure.
So Florey Winker, I think
the Winker Bros.
The Winker Bros may have came out of sea level. Brian Emstad, Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah, Brian would be a lock for a sea level person. We're not sure about where this German location is.
Scott Likely as well.
Yeah.
I think if he's still up in Anchorage.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look at the women's field, Claire Rhodes in second place. She'd been living in Reno the last 2 years, finishing her masters, but she has moved back to Anchorage, Alaska.
Caitlin Patterson claims Portland, Maine, sea level.
Yeah.
And Marilee is Great Falls, a little bit of elevation there, not a ton.
Danny Stack, Bozeman. Then I think we had 5th, 6th, 7th. The women was like Bozeman.
Yeah, we got a BC
Jenna
in
Greaser,
there.
Fernie, BC, maybe sea level, maybe up high.
So anyway, good mix of altitude acclimated athletes and some sea level folks in here too. But definitely favor goes to the altitude.
I love how the VK has seen so many people who are multi-sport athletes come in this. We're seeing Olympian skiers. We're seeing ski mountaineers like Cam Smith. We're seeing downhill mountain bikers like Jenna Greaser. It's so fun to see the people jump into this race with different sports backgrounds and succeed in this race.
Yeah, because the running skill set doesn't necessarily apply, right? It's pure aerobics. Your form doesn't matter as much, right? There's no fueling. Carrying your momentum with a good, well-developed form isn't as important when you're going straight uphill. So cyclists, skiers, anyone with powerful lungs can run straight uphill. So we see this sometimes at the Sentinel Hill Climb or some of these RUFA events where some of those cyclists, skiers, people who aren't necessarily specialized in running can nonetheless hang with some of the best runners in the world.
So now if we think about towards the race tomorrow, while we wait for to interview the women's podium, I would guess I don't think the storm is going to persist through tomorrow and the following day. So I think a lot of snow might still be persisting, but it won't be too bad for the 8K tomorrow, I would guess. Then for the 50K, I think it's meant to warm up a little bit. So they might have the nicest weather of the weekend in the 50K on Sunday.
Patty, I believe we got lab analysis back from Luke Galloway's jorts. We sent them off to a lab in Switzerland, and we just got the results back. They are, in fact, jorts.
They are, in fact, jorts.
Yeah.
What a relief.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most, that could have been one of the most controversial things in mountain sports this year if that had been a synthetic jort.
The results are that it is 100% cotton. We are.
Yep. No, 100% jort.
Jort. It's just
jort's
its own
specific material.
Gotcha. Well, update on the women's interviews. They all decided to take the tram down so that they can warm up.
Okay.
And so we are going to go meet them down there. I'm going to try to round them up and bring them in for you guys to interview one-on-one here in the studio. So
Excellent.
Please stand by if you're watching and want to hear from the ladies' podium.
One of probably the most important race of this weekend actually is the Paddy O'Leary versus Jen Lichter showdown tomorrow.
Oh, legendary. How many times have you guys raced each other?
Twice.
Twice, okay. And how did it play out each time?
Took it both times by about 2 minutes each time.
Okay. Well, she's definitely on the rise, and let's face it.
I'm old. I'm past it.
Yeah, what's Irish for washed up?
What is Irish for washed up? Oh, I don't know. Put me out to pasture.
Yeah.
I'm like I don't know. I'm trying to think of the term. There's a term describing an old horse that needs to be out to pasture, and that is me.
Well, I assume in the second half of the race today, you were hoping for Jen to really push as hard as she could and fatigue herself for the race.
I definitely was. I was encouraging her and many other people in the 28K to sign up for the VK today.
Oh yeah.
Johnny Luna Lima, I asked him and he would not, so he's actually focused. We had a random stranger almost came into our studio here. We have someone coming up the finish that almost lost a little bit of balance there.
Yeah, that last turn into the finish chute is a little bit dicey. It makes you wonder why they didn't. I guess there might just be a break in the fencing there, but there could have been a cleaner route to get into the timing mats there. Also worth noting, Luke Galloway, again, winner of the Jorts division as confirmed by the lab in Switzerland. Also one of the timers for the event. So maybe he knew some sort of shortcut, but
Is he
not sure if
fixing
that's
his
a
time?
conflict of interest or not.
Can we just talk about how cool it is that we are able to like follow track, witness these races wherever you are in the world?
Yeah.
It's kind of, how our sport has transformed over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and it's from like the team at Mountain Outpost that are bringing this to this sport to the world. As we think towards the future, and hey, if our sport ever gets towards the likes of the Olympics or something like that, this is how it's the teams that are bringing this these live streams to the world that are going to help us get there. So
Yet again, giving away your age, Patty, reminding the elders of a time when live updates were only provided by passenger pigeons.
it is truly a shame, though, that people weren't able to witness us in our in our peak.
I know it. Couple of sprint finishes here, folks coming across the line. I'm on the lookout for a couple of Missoula friends here. But it's in these conditions up top, it is hard to identify these racers.
They didn't even have records of some of your guys' first finishes, do they? Those were just...
No, they didn't have clocks that would do seconds and minutes, so it was only hours.
Oh, it was only an egg timer, right?
Yeah. What are those?
17
sand
turns
timers?
of the egg timer for Paddy's finish at the 2001 VK.
just past yonder when Paddy finished.
Actually, so I've been to this is my third time attending the Rut, and I have the unfortunate luck of I've never actually been able to race to the top of Lone Peak. I was labelled yesterday as the bad luck omen of the Rut. In 2016, there was a big snowstorm came in the hours before the race, so I was in the 50k. We had to be rerouted. We peaked out at Swift Current, and it ended up becoming a 26 miles as opposed to 31. And then last year, I did the VK and the 50k, but because of the construction, we topped out at the saddle. Yesterday, there was definitely some concerning looks between myself and Mike in that I truly was going for a 100% record of never getting to the top, but we look good. They're getting up there today. I expect we'll get up there tomorrow. So unless something catastrophic happens, I might make it to the summit of
Oh
Lone
my
Peak.
God, that'd be amazing. We're excited for you, Patty.
I'm just excited not to be the bad luck omen of this event, because Mike was definitely not going to invite me back next year.
Well, big kudos to Mike and the rest of the organizing staff. You can imagine how stressful it is to wake up the day before the race and realize that all the work you put into organizing this event might have to go into a 24-hour emergency shuffle to change the course and everything about what's happening. We changed the times. We didn't end up having to change the route, but a lot of what we were expecting going into this weekend changed last minute. So you can imagine that's pretty stressful for those folks, but the racers wouldn't know it. Everything's going off smoothly so far.
But can we also thank the race directors for having the alternative options ready to go, because we are dealing in high alpine conditions here. This is up at 11,000 feet. Weather can change, wind can come in, snowstorms. This is a dangerous event. You also have to think about.
I think we might have just had a winner of the pregnant division.
Did we just see Erica Flowers? Was she wearing North Face gear?
She was wearing North Face. I hope I didn't call out something inappropriate there, but we're just gonna go with it. Yeah, but well,
will
I'll
not be
just
held
stop at
liable
that.
for things that Chris Brown may or may not say here on the live stream. This is a disclaimer.
If Chris's interpretation was correct, that was likely Erica Flowers of Bozeman, Montana, and my North Face teammate, who is 7 months pregnant with baby Lars.
That adds up. Thanks for backing me up there.
Yeah, let's presume that was Erica.
Sure. Yeah.
Finishing. That's the safest option.
Yikes.
Wow. I'm actually shocked you made it an hour and 26 minutes without doing something almost that we would actually have to report to HR.
Well, you're just lucky there's no camera on us for now. Did you say HR? Oh my God.
I think Mike Foote is too busy right now. He doesn't need phone calls about this. Yeah, Erica Flower is actually previous winner of the Rut 50K. She's out of Bozeman, Montana. And she will actually be out on the field with us tomorrow, along with our other Nordfist teammate Brittany Charbonneau. I think tomorrow and Sunday they might be our reporters on the field throughout the 28K and the 50K. It is actually, we're sending the heavily pregnant commentators out on the field up the huge mountain while we're sitting here relaxing. So that is probably...
They say exercise is good for you in that state.
Oh, this guy!
We got
Usain Bolt.
Is that guy wearing a sling? I think that guy had a cast on.
That is one of the more Montana things we've seen across the finish line of this race. So we're creeping towards 90 minutes, and still, this is a very impressive time. Remember, this race, in 2.8 miles, it climbs 3,600 feet. There is, so a true VK has to climb a metric kilometer, the more sensible unit of measurement we have in this world, which I think is something like 3,200 city feet that you guys use. This is the one true VKs in the United States that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
I think a lot of the races just fall just short of the 3,200 feet.
Yep, a little bit more than 3,200. I think we're at 3,500. So yeah, above a VK in terms of elevation gain, and a relatively short distance with only 2.8 miles. So this one's stout. This is a real deal VK.
I guess some of the closer things, Broken Arrow, I think maybe 2,800 feet. Mount Marathon is relatively close to being a VK. However, it does its 3,000 feet of climbing. It does it in a mile and a half. So shout out to that race for being frankly quite idiotic. I had so much fun doing it last year or 2 years ago. Okay, so you can see it's clearing up. Now we can see the same level as base camp. So it seems that the clouds are breaking up a little bit. So for the later runners, and remember the 21K are still out there. They go as high as 9,000 feet, I think, at the Swift Current Aid Station. So they're out there shredding the trails as we speak. I do not think the 21K is going to be crossing snow at any stage. So it's definitely more of a runner's course. It'll be interesting to see how our friends Olivia, Amber, and others out there doing the 21K to see how that course is in these conditions. I just love with this course. Like, there's some hands on knees sections, there's some scrambling sections. You have to keep your wits about you when you're doing the Lone Peak VK.
Yeah, the amount of focus required to stay engaged during a VK is just insane. You have to have pedal to the metal the entire time. As soon as you kind of lose focus and go into autopilot, you'll find yourself just moving backwards.
Yeah. Okay, we got runners coming in strong and fast right now. Yeah, that's the thing about the VK. Like, you are putting everything into just moving forward, but also on a technical course like this, you actually have to concentrate on that as well. It's such a balance. We haven't seen, we saw a guy coming in on a cast, but I presume that happened to him before the start of this race. But I don't think we've seen anyone coming and look super shook yet.
Yeah, I think the camera is strategically placed to be just out of the puke zone. So
we did see some bend overs, some people doing bending over. We have yet to confirm if there was. Oh, we got a finisher with her medal, getting her finish line shot. Congratulations. Finishing the Lone Peak VK. Remember, many of these people are going to be jumping back into other races tomorrow or on Sunday. Very fortunate that in these conditions that we were able to do the full course, get all the way to the top. Honestly, it brings such an extra element of hardiness to this event. The VK discipline is such a unique part of this sport. Actually, over in Europe, there is some races that are V2K, and I think in northern Italy, there's even a V3K, which is 10,000 feet. I think I looked at this course on Gaia a few months back, and there was something like it did 10,000 feet and something like 10 miles. So there are some messed up races out there similar to the Rut.
That I can't even imagine where that would be and how you would accumulate that much vert in that short of a distance.
I think the closest thing we have to that in at least the contiguous U.S. Down at Palm Springs.
I was
you
going to
have
say,
the- have you done that?
Cactus to Clouds. No, I haven't done it, but it's legendary. It sounds great. I would love to go do it someday.
So that climbs from, I think, just below zero, because it's close to dead, from Palm Springs to, let's say, zero, up to 10,000 feet in something like 16 miles.
Yeah,
So
super underrated mountains down in that part
yeah.
of the world. Oh,
Um,
had some female jorts division.
with enough energy to jump across the finish line as well. Yeah, I would love to get down to do the Pass the Clouds sometime myself. The limitation with that one is that you're out there for a 16-mile climb at 10,000 feet, but it is desert and there is no water on that route. However, if you do it in the winter, there could be desert at the bottom and snow for the top half, which is pretty unique. From the top runners there, what was the winner used poles? I think a lot of other ones were going without poles. Who else used poles? Did Ryan Becker use poles?
I don't remember seeing poles other than Cam in the top 10 or so.
Maybe Patterson as
Maybe
well.
Patterson.
Caitlin Patterson, third in the women's, did use poles.
Okay. Yeah, I stopped paying attention to it, but definitely a mix.
Go Montana State.
Alrighty. Nah, let's go Grizz. University
Grizz.
of Montana. Thought we were about to interview that guy.
Yeah. Okay, so I expect our three ladies are on podium finishers, are on the descent going down the lift now. And then we should have them in the studio momentarily. So what are you excited about for the 28K tomorrow? Let's think towards that. What I don't know, who are your favorites for taking the W in that?
Well, after the performance today, Jen definitely showed the strength. I think, going up against Bailey Kowalczyk, she's been on an absolute tear lately. That seems to me like the top two.
She won the last 2 years. She
Mhm.
was second in 2021.
Yeah, but she wasn't racing Jen, I don't believe,
No,
because Jen was in the 50K and focusing on that, not doing the trifecta
Yeah.
or both distances. So that's a great showdown. Jen.
Oh, one moment.
What do we got?
We can confirm that was Erica Flowers who leading the pregnant
Okay,
divisions,
good.
Chris. So
Thank
your
God.
job is safe.
So I can.
Erica just crossed
I
across
can be
there.
here tomorrow to announce. Great. So I think the showdown between Jen and Bailey is what we're looking at tomorrow. So we've said, Bailey has proven herself on the 28K course. Jen has proven herself on the 50K course. So seeing those two throw down against each other should be pretty fun to see.
Denali Strabel there. She has ran some of the fastest times on Mount Marathon, which is arguably a much shorter course than the 28K tomorrow, being only a 5K. But she is one of the strongest mountain runners coming out of Alaska, so I'm excited to see what she can do. Also, Caitlin Patterson doubling back from the race today, from her third place just there. Janelle Lynx was meant to be doing the VK, but I don't think she was out there.
I didn't see her name in the results or at any point on the live feed, so I don't think she was out there.
Yeah, but she has won Broken Arrow 26K before. She is a strong runner.
Yeah, so pretty solid field out there again tomorrow for that, and some people coming back from the race today. And then on the men's side, Johnny Luna Lima, Cam Smith again coming back from today. Paddy O'Leary is a threat to maybe crack the top 50 or so. Jackson Cole, this is another Missoula guy. He bounces back and forth between Missoula and a few other places. But he's been on a tear lately, kind of on the sky running side of things. Hasn't done too many ultra distance races, but when it comes to high elevation technical with lots of elevation gain and descent, Jackson's tough to beat. He's really strong, and he's seen a lot of improvement in the last even year or so. So I would put him as maybe not even a dark horse, but definitely kind of a podium threat.
Jackson Cole, has he been Team USA?
I don't think he's been Team USA, but I don't know. There's a lot of obscure
I've
distances.
seen, I think Jackson Cole, he has been competing on the World Skyrunning Series this year.
He has been, yeah.
He has been racing over in Europe and I think potentially Mexico. So I think I've seen him in a number of top 10s on the World Skyrunning Series. So actually, he's got some strength.
Yeah, he's a super strong runner.
Scott Patterson coming back from his 4th place today.
Yep, and proved it today that he's fit. So we'll see him out there tomorrow.
Rob Crowder was meant to be racing, twice Western States champion, was here for the Rut last year. He is at home sick in Arizona. So get better, Rob.
Yeah, so stout fields, both sides. Again, a mix of newbies, veterans,
Wait a
and
minute.
Alaskans.
Eli Hemming.
Oh, that's right. He's not on our list. Yeah, of course, Eli Hemming.
It might be on the next page.
Let's see. I don't think we. No. Oh, and we got one more. Yeah, but so Eli Hemming, obviously top of the world right now, has to be the favorite, having come off a pretty dominant win at OCC.
Tabor Hemming.
Yep, and Tabor Hemming on the women's side.
Yeah.
Both just absolute studs.
So Eli and Tabor both won. Eli earlier in the year. He's just been winning all around this year. Eli won the Big Alta 50K. Tabor won the Big Alta 26K back in the spring. Eli has had a spectacular result 2 weeks ago at OCC. He's going to be racing Mammoth, I think, next week. Let's see what sort of lethargy he carries through from OCC, but tremendous.
Yeah, that's not
results.
just a 50K out there. That's a lot of time on feet. So, but sometimes when you're hot. So, Aubrey Meijer also absolutely studly mountain runner. He's really speedy, but he's got climbing legs. Some pretty crazy climbing legs. Another D1 runner. He's had some injuries over the past few years, and I think that's kept him out of some big performances that would have made him a known quantity at this point. But nonetheless, he's definitely got the potential to be a podium threat here tomorrow.
Okay. Paddy O'Leary back here after a much needed bathroom break. Actually looking at the 21k updates here. So we have the update from the Swift Current aid station, which there are 3 timing mats before the finish. We had Challenger, we had Swift Current, and then we have the Andesite. So there's a final climb up to Andesite before they descend down to the finish. And we have the top 5 men through that. We got Bryce Young, through Swift Current in 110. Jake Neal, through Swift Current in 106. Running with Doug Neal, essentially brothers, both 46. We got twin brothers from Bozeman, Montana running together, through in 3rd and 4th in 106.20. And then just beside them, maybe running with them as well, we have Chris Johnson in 106.19. And then Brian Reaney is leading the men's race in 104.33. If we look at the women, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. In 5th place at Challenger, 40 minutes in, was Eileen Carey of Bozeman. In 4th place, we have our own TNF's Olivia Amber coming back after a long racing layoff, 38.07. Running with Michaela Adrian from Bozeman, Montana in 38.05. Then 2nd place currently in the women is Jen Meixner from Bozeman, Montana in 36.58, 20 seconds ahead of 3rd and 4th. And then leading the women's race, we've got Madison Lighty from Bozeman, Montana, who got through Challenger in 35.53. The top 5 women have yet to get through the high point of the Swift Current aid station. Got Chris Brown back here.
Oh, we're back.
So we had looking at the VK finish, it seems that the finishers have started to thin out, so I'd say we're getting towards the end of the field here now. And it seems to be clearing up a little bit as well. There's a little margin of blue sky appearing in the top left, and we can still see the peaks below.
Yeah.
The foot below, the foot of the climbs below.
And from what I've seen, it looks like the weather's just going to continue to get better over the course of the day. The clouds should let up. Tomorrow we're looking like basically clear skies and actually a little warm on Sunday. Temps getting back up into the 70s. So.
Do you want to go to what's the precipitation? Precipitation likelihood?
I think we're out of the woods on precipitation too.
Precipitation 0 and any wind.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if all of the snow melts for some of those high ridge lines over the next few days. But in terms of precipitation and temps, should be in a little bit of a better spot than the runners today.
But it looks to be pretty good timing because it looks Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We have got rain and snow potentially coming back to Big Sky, Montana. So starting this Sunday, look to be sunny spells and scattered showers. No, sunny spells and scattered clouds and no rain whatsoever.
We should have been weathermen.
We should have brought Trace and Knopp. Claire Rhodes' partner is recently qualified as a weatherman.
Is he really?
No, he works in weather systems, but so awesome. I joke. Whenever I need to know the weather in anywhere in the world, I'll text him and ask him. And
oh my God,
he is probably pretty annoyed by that by now.
Trayson's twin brother used to be my roommate.
Trayson's twin brother was 5th place last year at the VK. Right, me and him were thrown down for the whole way, and I managed to get him at the very end.
Legend, Dawson. What
Dawson
a tough
Knopp.
guy.
Yeah. Oh, that blue sky. Oh, careful, buddy. The blue sky is sneaking out. And we are 146 gone in the VK. And the top corner we see the logo for Runner's Edge, the race directors for this. Thanks guys for putting on such a spectacular event from Friday through till Sunday. It's just jam-packed with so many events, including the famed and fabled after party with the Under the Sea theme. So if you're in the Big Sky area, come join us at the end for the bit of the party. Do you want to pull up the schedule? I'm trying to think of other things that are ongoing this weekend. So today we have the VK and we have the 21K. Congratulations on your VK finish. And look at that blue sky. Tomorrow we have the 28K, which starts at 8 a.m. We have the most important race of the whole week, the Rut, which I think is at 4 p.m. tomorrow.
I think you got that mostly right.
I got that mostly right, which is a rare happening for Paddy O'Leary. So that's tomorrow afternoon, and that is the funnest race where you have kids from 1 till 10 just throwing down out there.
Oh, thought we had a flasher there up top. Just a bib number display.
And then on tomorrow evening, we have an elite athlete panel hosted by the North Face on the deck. And then on Sunday, I think we have 2 races on the Sunday. We have the 50K, which starts, I think, at 6 a.m. I could be marginally wrong at that. Don't hold me to it. And then I think the 11K is also on Sunday. And then Under the Sea after party. If you're in Montana, come up and join us. There may be some Zach Miller dancing.
We'll sadly be back in Missoula at that point.
That wind is still ripping. But it is clearing up nicely. We've got some blue skies.
Yeah, you can tell world of difference between this morning and now up there.
I want to give a shout out to my mother if she's watching back home in Tom Farney, Adamstown in Escorty, County Wexford. How's it going, ma'am? How am I doing? I'm going to look up and see if there's anything else we're missing from the schedule. So VK was today, the 21K was today, and then we've got a 5 p.m. shakeout run with some athletes from the TNF team. Tonight, actually, at 6:15, Brendan Leonard, so you might know him as Semi-Rad on Instagram. I guess, how would you describe him? Novelist, comic writer, meme connoisseur, Brendan Leonard. He's presenting, doing a presentation, the Ultra Something multimedia presentation at 6:15. And then all day long, the Rut tattoos are offered at the base area. So for I think the full existence of the race, they've been offering Rut tattoos of the Rut antlers that you can get after you're finished at the race.
I feel like they need to do a brand instead of a tattoo.
That is cruel. Then tomorrow we have the 28K starting at 8, and then we also have a shakeout run at 10 a.m. We have expecting the first male finishers around 11 a.m. First female finishers around 11:45. And remember, we are going to be live online here with Olivia Amber and Chris Bobo Brown.
That's yeah.
That's Chris Bobo.
That's pretty close.
Then the Runts run 1K in Big Sky at 4:45. An elite athlete panel at 6:30. Then Sunday, we have the mass start for the 50K at 6 a.m. The 11K mass start at 7:30, and then all the way through to the Rut after party Under the Sea from 8 p.m. onwards. We are fortunate on the North Face athlete team that we have Brittany Charbonneau, who has brought costumes for all of us for the Under the Sea theme. Brittany will be one of our people on the floor people on the field for the live stream tomorrow, I would guess. Oh, yes, tune in to see any comments. Does Zach have a retirement plan in commentating? Especially with his insight into tiny horses and large ducks. I'm sure he does. Okay, Robert Prosser makes a fair point that Cam Smith is completely oblivious to gravity. It does not apply to him on the uphills. I would have to agree in that statement. And we have got a buffalo at the finish line up there now.
You know what the FKT for the buffalo division is?
Skylar Hall with Paddy scoffs at these conditions. # Visit Ireland. Tourism Ireland, I expect a shout out for me and Skylar. Expect a payout for that. Honestly, we would recommend come visit Ireland as a mountain running destination. It's a spectacular corner of the world.
We're on the screen there for a minute. What are they thinking?
When do the sign-ups open up for the 2025 Rut 50K? Chad, I actually am not sure of that question, but we'll try find that out for you. I expect that date isn't assigned yet.
That is a Googleable fact.
That is a Googleable fact. But how about give the Rut a follow on Instagram? They're very active. They'll be able to keep you updated on that. The athlete who seems to be getting the most shout outs on the live stream is not a competitor, it is Zach Miller. However, we got a lot of shout outs for Jen and Claire. A lot of shout outs from the Cornells for Jen. Nick Cornell, Jen's partner, who is bringing their dog here today.
Is he not here yet?
I think he gets in today. Uno is an adorable dog, if any of you ever get to meet Uno.
Nick, another formidable treadmill challenge competitor.
Oh, yeah. How did you do that in that, Chris?
I blacked out every time, so firsthand I can't really tell you, but I've been been in it 3 times, and each time I said I'd never do it again.
I notice a pattern there. We both say the same thing every time we attempt to run 100 miles.
It's kind of how the sport goes, I think.
How many finishers are we on total here now?
Oh, quite a few. I'm not sure.
So there we see...
One thing we were commenting on earlier is...
oh, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my God.
In the studio,
Speaking
who
of one
knows
thing we
how
were
he got
commenting
by
on.
the bouncers, but 10th place, first button-up shirt, Gus Guslington Gibbs is come into the room.
Gus Gibbs. Here he is. Oh, I'll gladly take this headset off. Gus, have a seat.
So just looking at Gus's getup now, I'm shocked he survived the race out there. He is currently here in this balmy interview room wearing his mittens. How cute.
Oh, wow. Here we are.
Gus, so you just came 10th place in the Lone Peak VK. How was it for you out there?
First run in 3 weeks.
First run in 3 weeks?
Yeah. Just been on the John Muir Trail for 3 weeks,
Oh, no way.
17 days.
Oh, amazing.
So it was a treat. It's beautiful. It's actually not that cold until you stop running.
Until you stop running, okay.
Yeah. But some people, I think, you're putting in a lot of effort, and then all of a sudden your body's like...
Yeah. One thing I noticed, because I'm from VKs, traditionally you collapse over the finish line and lie down.
Yeah.
Because you're dying so much.
There's
But no
nowhere
one was
you
doing
wanna lie
that.
down.
No one was doing that today.
Yeah. I don't know.
So from as you traverse through the race course, what was kind of the toughest part of it, or how does it give us your 60-second portrayal about how that race progresses throughout?
I think the rain yesterday really softened up the dirt under the sort of shale and early on the ski lift or on the ski run. So it made it a little bit slippery.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to go in somebody else's footsteps, and then they've compacted it so much that it's like slimy mud.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, try to run on the bigger rocks or, it's actually, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But towards the top, where the snow was a little thicker, ended up being, it was also a little bit looser, and you're just trying to kind of follow in footsteps.
Yeah, and survive.
Yeah, but it was great. There was some light wind on the ridge, but a lot of the flagging was on the leeward side of the ridge.
Yep.
So occasionally you're just by the nature of the sort of the natural rock formation, the course kind of winds on that ridge there. I think there was drone footage for
we had drone footage for the majority of it. So I'm just looking. You were actually you were 54-34. I guess Jen was because we're going to be talking to the lead ladies in a second. Was Jen ever in touch with you?
She was really close. Yeah. When we passed Esther mid-mountain.
Yeah. So it's
she was right there.
Yeah. I see Jason Donald, who was 12th. Yeah, he ran into the past Swift Current with her.
Yeah. She was flying.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
As expected.
I know.
Expected. Are you racing again this weekend, or is this your...
I'm I just signed up last minute. I'm here for Scratch.
Yeah.
Shout out Scratch.
Shout out to Scratch.
Um,
One of your Scratch colleagues was racing. How did she end up doing? Did you see her out there?
I saw her at the start. She was right up there.
But this was her first trail race, correct?
Yeah. She's an Olympic trials 800 qualifier, so she's got some speed.
How do you think the Olympic 800 meters translates to a VK?
I mean, it's pretty much the same distance. It's a kilometer versus 800 meters, right?
This wrong direction. I want to give a shout out to my namesake, Bryant O'Leary, in 70th place from Bozeman, Montana.
Look at that.
So good, they named it twice. You've been here, come to the Rut for a number of years. You've been on a Scratch basis for racing and things like that. What to you sets the Rut apart from other events that you've been to across the United States?
You know, I think for this race, Montana shows up in such a big way, and you can see what an incredible community sort of Missoula and Bozeman both have. But they're welcoming too. Yeah. There's no kind of limit. Yeah. It's an incredibly welcoming community. Every time I do a Montana race, I'm like, could I live in Montana? Like, winters.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Gus here, formerly of Middle Valley, California. Snow and coldness wasn't really a thing, except if there was maybe a mildly heavy fog.
Yeah.
Was Gus's knowledge of cold weather prior to him moving to Boise, Idaho.
Yeah. Cold weather's okay. I have Raynaud's. It's not acting up right now, so I'm pretty pleased. My hands have not gone white.
Yeah, yet. The weekend is young. We're just on Friday. The weather is going to get better for our
I know.
California-born guy, Gus Gibbs.
I can't wait. I'm still working on my watch tan here. Look at this. Look at that. It's pretty good, right?
Pretty impressive. Don't think. Oh, they can't see us. We are on the camera down in the corner.
Oh God.
Gus, I got to ask you a question. When you were out there and you leave the base here in the village, and it looks pretty nice in terms of weather, conditions are nice and like cool but sunny. As you're climbing up into that fog, was there any kind of just like, where is this true summit? Were you kind of like questioning yourself, like how long is this climb actually going to be because you couldn't see the summit?
Yeah, definitely. I looked at my watch and I'm like, am I halfway now? I only had the time showing. I wasn't looking at vert, but yeah, it was kind of like, it's up there. Somebody will tell me when the finish is. It's not.
About how far away from the summit were you before you could like actually see it, like know that you were right there by the finish?
100 yards.
So you kind of were like, for a minute, you were just kind of in there like, I don't know where this place is, where I'm going right now.
I mean, but also I was wearing a hat and I had to keep the visor down kind of low and tighten the strap in the back, because otherwise it would have kind of blown off maybe. So my visibility wasn't the best. I wasn't like looking straight up, and I was using poles, which was kind of a drag at the end there. It got relatively steep, and you're kind of
how much throughout the race were you hands on knees using your hands? Or any of
it? None
of it.
Yeah. It was just the last bit where it's like so rocky, you're like using them to do a big step up.
Did you find you could hear, because especially with the fog and the sound can carry through the fog a little bit further? When could you hear?
There was some good heckling.
Yes.
Yeah. My buddy Nick English is up there at that aid station, or at the top there, and I could hear his voice for, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe.
Love that. From my own experience, I remember I did Ultra Trail Cape Town several years ago, and from the foot of one of the climbs they had a bagpiper up in the fog, and it was just carrying us up. It was like the Pied Piper carrying us up into the mist.
Incredibly majestic.
I love how fog can just carry like that. I love that you could hear them for 10 minutes heckling.
Yeah,
getting in
it
your
was
head.
it was neat. It really, there were sort of, it seemed like EMT, medical
Yeah, scattered
folks
the whole way up.
on kind of the ridge on the way up, and they were pretty quiet, a little conservative, like talking amongst themselves, but really, you could hear the hecklers, and you thought they were close, and they were
They're
not that close. It was cool.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
Mentally, what was it like seeing like competitors just disappear into the fog? Because I'm reminded of, I raced Tusher's marathon years ago, and me and Timothy Olsen were on the climb up to the Delano Peak, and he just took off in the fog, and like seemingly we were like, I can see him, I'm chasing, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared, and it killed my like momentum completely. I was like, he's gone, he's done. Like he's probably near the finish at this point now. Like just because I couldn't see him, did that play a factor at all out there?
Not for me. I was really just, I'm here to work for scratch, and like jumping in this race was a mega bonus.
I usually run a top 10 in the VK
I
and
signed
put
up
in a
an
good day's
hour
work.
before the race. It was
Okay,
fine.
so we got some humble bragging here by
No.
Gus Gibbs.
Stop.
It was all that
there was
scratch super fuel.
The competitive aspect was not a part of my mindset. But also, like, if people are even like 10 yards in front of you, it's pretty much like they're gonna be 10 yards in front of you in a VK. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a flatter trail race where you're like, I can make up that ground. It's
speaking more to the just like the majesty and how amazing
it was gorgeous.
just to see people just disappear off into the fog.
Yeah,
and hearing the finish lines, like that would have been rad.
But it certainly did not like bum me out or like make me give up.
Kill the chase.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it was gorgeous.
Yeah. Have you been thinking about the race tomorrow? Have you looked at the field tomorrow and on Sunday? We actually haven't talked about Sunday yet.
I haven't even been on my phone in 3 weeks.
So just if you just tuning in, Gus just got off the John Muir Trail. So he just spent the last 3 weeks hiking and adventuring around the California Sierra Nevada mountains.
Yeah.
Significantly less snow than he experienced today.
Yes, certainly. Warm in my 30-degree quilt at like sleeping between 10 and 13,000 feet.
But it shows this through hiking. I just got off, don't know if I call it through hike, after I raced Sierras and All a few weeks ago. Myself and my wife went and did our honeymoon hiking the Hout Route.
Yeah.
And I'm carrying some Hout Route fitness into this race this
Yeah.
weekend. So shout out to hiking.
I know. It's
Especially
time on
especially as we
feet.
get older, Gus.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. We may not be as past it as Chris Brown, but we're getting pretty close. Oh my God.
Gus, tell us a little bit about your John Muir Trail experience being out there. What was your favorite section?
I'll start with my least favorite section. That was Yosemite.
Chaos in August. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, sorry. Muir Pass was absolutely stunning.
That goes over
And
12,000 feet? Maybe not that high?
Yeah, maybe. And then the divide between Sequoia and Kings National Parks is just remarkable. Like, I don't know how they built a pass there. It's so rocky. And I would like to go back and spend more time in the Sierra.
Yeah.
I think maybe I should just move back to California.
Yeah.
You got room for me in the house we're buying?
I think you're asking the wrong guy, the unemployed academic. I think you're married to an artist. I think you might be asking the wrong person to help co-buy a house with.
We're looking to start a commune.
Yeah.
There's a little known race happening next weekend in the Sierra. We've got Mammoth Trail Fest, which we will also be live streaming and broadcasting that race. So maybe just hop. I mean, you're prone to hopping into races last minute, so maybe we'll see you out there.
I will be elsewhere, but I was planning on being there.
You don't want to come like 65th place with me?
Yeah. I would love to be 66.
Oh my God. We're just talking about through hiking, and something just popped into my mind. This is a Mike Foot race, and one of the my favorite. Mike Foote has made a couple of movies about the mountains over the years. If I'd recommend you all go onto YouTube and look up the North Face and Protect Our Winters film, Shining Mountains, that features Mike Foote and Jen Lichter. They released it last year, where they went to try take photos, matching photos taken from 100 years ago of the 26 remaining glaciers in Glacier National Park. But then years back, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, is it called the Crown Traverse? Zach, did you ever see this film? The Crown Traverse? Did you ever see the Mike Foote film? I think it's the Crown Traverse, where they himself, and it might have been Seth Swanson, and I wonder who, I can't remember who he did it with. But anyway, they hiked, bushwhacked across this traverse from Glacier National Park up to Banff, up to Alberta. Is that Alberta? And it was one of the cooler films that I've seen. So I'd recommend you all go check out the Crown, Mike Foote's old film, The Crown Traverse. Yoko Lindsay just asked on the live stream, is there a separate live stream for the 21K? I'm afraid not. This weekend we're doing 3 races. We're doing the VK today, the 28K tomorrow, and the 50K on Sunday. However, can bop into the 21K results and give you a little update there. Runners are still at Swift Current, so the 5 I told you before are still the case. However, the women should be passing through Swift Current by now. So we've got Jen Meixner. Gender place. Oh, Madison Lighty, 8 overall, first place female, 113 through Swift Current. Second place female, Jen Meixner, Busman Matana in 1:16:42. Olivia Amber and Michaela Adrian are inseparable in 3rd and 4th, 1:19:10, 1:19:19. And then 5th place, Jenny Clay, just 2 minutes behind them. 5th place, just actually joined by Eileen Carey. 5th and 6th it went 1:21:54 and 1:22:02. We don't have any finishers to the 21K yet, but they're through, I think, what is roughly the halfway point in 1:04 for the men. So I expect Brian Reaney might be finishing somewhere in around 2 hours, which would be in about 20 minutes time.
Awesome. Gus, thank you for joining us. We're going to cut out for just a moment, and we will come back to preview a little bit of the race that's going to be happening tomorrow. Maybe we can talk to Patty about what his race strategy is going to be and get some insight on that. But Gus, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
All right, folks, we're back here in Big Sky, Montana. I'm Chris Brown here with Patty O'Leary, just wrapping up the Lone Peak VK here and giving you a little preview of what we got coming tomorrow. So tomorrow, the 28K super stack fields on both sides. So on the women's side, of course, we got Tabor Hemming, Bailey Kowalczyk, Jen Lichter, Janelle Lynx. It's just stacked. So some folks coming back from the VK today and some fresh legs also in that field. Patty, do you got any picks for that field?
Yeah, well, when we look at it, like we have the 2-time defending 28K champ returning to defend her title, so that's Bailey Kowalczyk. We have the 3-time defending champ for the 50K who just won the VK today, Jen Lichter. She's dropped out to the 28K at the challenge. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, Tabor Hemming, who's been on fire the last couple of years. She just got off a disappointing result at OCC, so she's gonna have some fire. She's gonna want to race hard and race strong tomorrow.
But nonetheless, all of them have been running super well lately.
Yeah.
Generally, lately, maybe the last race wasn't great, but all of them have been running super well recently.
Other people that are going to be in the mix, Janelle Lynx, she has won Broken Arrow. She just had a great Cirque Series result, winning the A Basin race last week. But then also we got Denali Strabel, comes out from Mount Marathon, one of the strongest Alaskan women. Caitlin Patterson, currently Portland, Maine, but formerly Alaska as well.
Was third in the VK today.
2-time Olympic skier. Other names we got coming in here, we got Jenna Greaser, who's coming back, who just was top 10 in the VK today. She's doing the trifecta. We also have Anika Landis, who's transitioning across in the pro ski racing circuit. And then Rachel Habaus, who is just made the youth world skyrunning team and placed highly around mountain races all across the West. So she's
good
on her
mix
way
of
up.
good mix of veterans, beginners, but a lot of contenders. So
Yeah.
The podium race is going to be pretty interesting. The race for first is going to be interesting, and it's going to be really deep all the way through that top 10.
Yeah.
It looks like. The men's side, what do you got, Patty?
Well, the men's side, the 28K is the last 2 champions. So it's got Johnny Luna Lima and Cam Smith. Cam just won the VK today. We also have the 22 runner-up, who's on, who would have been, who was the 22 runner-up? Was Johnny runner-up to Cam? Okay, I've lost a little bit of my history here. But we've the last 2 champions with Johnny Luna and Cam Smith. We also have Eli Hemming.
I mean, the past 2 champs are neither of them are the favorite. How crazy is that?
Which is absurd.
Yeah.
And then we also have Scott Patterson, who's doing the trifecta, who has podiumed this race in the 50K and the VK several times when it was on the World Skyrunning Circuit. Twice Olympic participant for the USA in skiing. I think it's hard to look beyond Eli, but the interesting question is how much baggage is he going to be carrying from his tremendous OCC result?
Yeah, it makes you wonder what is he getting out of doubling back for this race in particular, right? Like, is it kind of a love of the game situation? Like, who comes back 2 weeks after winning OCC? He's got nothing to prove right now, but he is on a hot streak, and maybe he's just taking advantage of that.
Actually, I talked to Eli and Tabor. I was over in the Alps during the OCC UTMB races. I talked to them both in the airport, and when they told me they're coming to do this race, they said it's just because they love the rut.
There we go.
It's true sky running. It's true mountain running. They want to support and be there and participate in the best, gnarliest sky running race in the US.
And I think you just earned that $50 from Mike Foote for getting that in there. Otherwise, Jackson Cole's in this race, a little bit of an underdog, except for those of us who know him. Runs in, according to my schedule, slightly more obscure races. He's on kind of that sky running series. I guess that applies more here. It's, Jackson can run uphill like a maniac. He's got technical skills. No one's broken my quads on downhills like Jackson has. So I think he's a step above a dark horse for a podium spot here. I think he's a real contender.
He's been consistently top 10 in the skyrunning circuit all throughout the world circuit this year. I think keep an eye out for him.
Yep. We also have another guy who's kind of under the radar, but a personal friend of mine and an absolute stud, Aubrey Meijer. Again, we mentioned earlier he's had a little bit of an injury history in the past couple of years. It's kept him from stepping out into the limelight, but he's got the wheels for it. If he has strung together enough training time without injury, he is a force to be reckoned with. So watch out for Aubrey out there. This could be a big debut for him. And then we got this Irishman, Patty O'Leary. What do you think? tell me about your goals out there tomorrow. What are you here for?
So I kind of do everything from like 5Ks on a track to 100 milers. But I'm starting to try kind of hone in on a discipline that kind of is perfect for me, and I think it's something in around the 30Ks. I think one thing I've realized from I was being interviewed before the Big Alta earlier this year, and I was interviewed right before the race, and I'm like, I'm going to go out Dipsy style. So a race like the Dipsy, which I've competed in many times over the last number of years, it's a cross-country race. Effectively, you have to go out as hard as you can from the start. Go out hard and speed up is the goal for that. The Big Alta this spring for second place behind Nick Handel. I think that's going to be my goal tomorrow. I'm going to try to take chances and go out strong, because you have to if you want to compete against a podium of this level. Last year I was 4th place in the VK and the 50K, so just off the cash podium where you get the single dollar bills from Mike Foot. Interesting side note, Mike Foot presents the winners with thousands of dollars of single dollar bills on the podium. It is the most Mike Foot Montana thing you can get. I'm going to take chances. I'm probably out of the field. I'm probably the most suited to flat, fast, runnable stuff. I'm less of a mountain runner, more of probably a track runner and a mountain runner's mindset. So I'm going to have to make the most of the runnable sections. Climbing, I'm feeling good, but the descending, we've got some of the best descenders in the country. Johnny Lunalima is probably the best descender in the country, so I'm going to have to take chances to keep up with those boys.
Well,
and ladies, Jen Lichter has been hunting me down in races for the last 3 years, and she has been telling me she is going to take me down tomorrow. So that is the race within the race of me versus Jen, and I am intimidated.
Well, we asked for your goals and not your life story, but thank you, Patty, or should we say James Joyce, for the expository sort of tirade there. Anyway, that's our 20. Sorry, buddy. That's our 28K preview for tomorrow. It's shaping up to be a barn burner. I'll be back here a little before 8 a.m. local time, which is when the race starts. We'll be kicking off live coverage about 7:45. I'll be here with Olivia Amber. Patty will be, like we discussed at length, out there racing. Yeah, and then on Sunday, again, we have that 50K. And that'll be Olivia and Patty covering that. I will not be out there racing, but lots of stuff left to go here at the Rut weekend here in Big Sky.
Yeah. One thing we have to thank for this great live stream, for us to be able to do this for the VK, the 50K, and the 28K, we have to obviously thank our team, our production team at Mountain Outpost, who are at the forefront of getting these races to in the view of the world on these live streams, but also to thank our sponsors, the North Face, Scratch Labs, Best Day Brewing, we got Catula, and we got FKT.
FKT sunglasses out of Butte, Montana, local company. I got a pair of them. You know, I have no relationship with them. They just rule, and they're local, so I love them. So shout out FKT.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're into the last 5 minutes of the VK here. Not sure how firm of a cutoff that is, whether they're yanking people off course, but we should be seeing our last few participants here and then a sweeper behind them. So congrats to everybody who ran the VK today. Our podium finishers all the way back to the back of the pack. It was a tough one, tough weather. We changed from summer to fall yesterday, so I don't think anyone had the snow training, and everyone was facing that for the first time today. So yeah, awesome conditions. It'll be a memorable one. Maybe not the fastest day, maybe not the most pleasant, but definitely a memorable race and course today.
Maybe not the fastest day, but we still have the second fastest men's time.
I know. I wanted to ask Zach when he had Cam there, if he could sort of speculate on how many seconds that snow might have cost them.
Yeah.
You know, if that, I got to assume that running on snow for the last, 15 minutes or so cost more than 9 seconds.
Yeah.
But then again, we don't know what Remy, is it Remy? Yeah, we don't know what Remy ran on when he set the course record, or exactly where the finish line was, or what the specific route up there was. So, VK is especially tough to compare times over years, but at any rate, Cam Smith's was an all-time performance this year, whether it's second best or, weighted to maybe be even a little superior or not so much. But, yeah, excellent performance.
So tomorrow, the live stream is going to kick off for the 28K at 7:45. Race first wave 1 starts at 8 a.m. Tom Sowden in the chat is, can't believe Mike Foot put all that snow on the course. Honestly, that is a very Mike Foot thing to do. Okay, I wonder, are we going to see any more finishers coming through?
Yeah, we see some celebrations here at the top. The last few people coming in. You know, I don't know how long the golden hour is technically in a VK, but we're in it right now.
So I'm going to scroll down to see how many finishers we have. So we're into the hundreds. We're into the 200s. And as it stands, updated on the page, we are into the 300s. Oh, we are on 290 finishers so far. We are on 277. So Paul Francisco, 54 years of age, out of Fort Collins, Colorado, is finished in 224.
And by what we're seeing on the live tracking here, we should have about 15 more participants out there.
That's likely some DNFs.
Yeah, we probably got some DNFs here. But we at least got a few more out there.
Maybe 10 who have passed Swift Current, but who have not reached the finish line.
That said, I'm not sure this is 100% up to date. But at any rate, it seems like we have a couple more. We have one more coming across the line right now, celebrating. Congratulations. Welcome to the top of Lone Peak.
Good call on the woolly hat.
Yeah, I was wondering what these people, kind of the slower movers, were wearing at the start compared to what they're wearing at the finish. Did they bring all that extra gear with them and put it on at that halfway station, or how they managed that logistic? I gotta say, Mika looked pretty cold for the last little bit of that race.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to look up here is who is our oldest competitor. I just need to turn this off. Turn that off. Okay, so our youngest competitors, we had Rocco Valentine at 16 years of age and Coulter Clifton Short at 16 years of age, who both finished. Rocco ran in a very impressive 107 and Colton 123. They're both 16 years of age. And the youngest lady looks to be...
We had Colt Wolf, worth mentioning. I believe that's the little guy that was with Mike Wolf.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And then the youngest lady may have been Naomi DeRuyter, 21 years of age, who ran 131. And then looking on the other end of the spectrum, Durbin Emerson. She's out of Big Sky, Montana. She's a local in the 70 to 99 age group, 73 years of age. 157, she went under 2. And she was closely a little bit older than Bob Johnson, 72 years of age, of Red Lodge, Montana, who ran a 148.25. And then Judy Meltzer of Bozeman, Montana, at 71 years of age. She ran a 218. Super impressive.
Amazing. And I did call this out earlier, and or as a potential sighting, but we did have Larry Peterman out there, the legendary Larry Peterman, father of Adam Peterman.
And he ran in 132.
132.
Which is absurd for 70 years of age.
That's amazing.
Oh, we got some more runners coming through. We just had a Jorts finisher there who has very cold legs, I would bet, right now. And we have just passed the 2:30 mark. So the theoretical cutoff would be right now. So I wonder if we look back over to the 21K, do we have any finishers in the 21K as of yet? Not yet. We've got, wow, 21K, we have a race. We have 3 people through together. Doug Neal, Jake Neal, twins from Bozeman, and Chris Johnson from Evergreen, Colorado, are through seemingly in a group, the Andesite aid station, the final aid station, in 142. And then in the women's race, we still have Madison Lighty winning, with Jen Meixner in second and Olivia Amber in third place, all through Andesite. Olivia in 159, Jen 157, and Madison in 152. So Madison has a 7-minute lead. However, the top 3 men are all together, I guess, running together.
And someone did ask in the chat, do we have a specific live stream for the 21K? And the answer is we don't. We're covering the VK, 28K, and 50K this weekend specifically. So them's the breaks.
Okay, so we got Chris Brown and Paddy O'Leary here, still here at the Lone Peak VK. So we're going to finish up our live commentary now, but we're going to continue streaming for another few minutes. So if you have any runners who are still out there in the VK course, you're going to be able to watch them and watch them cross the finish line. We can see a runner crossing over in 2:32.47. Make sure to tune in again tomorrow for Chris in Bolivia, starting at 7:45 on the Mountain Outpost YouTube channel to watch the 28K throwdown.
We'll be here talking about it, and you'll be out there racing.
I'll be out unable to speak for 3 hours or so. Thank you all for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our insightful, relatively insightful knowledge on VK and skyrunning. Thanks so much for being there. Tap, like, subscribe. We see you all soon.